You got to develop some sort of spiritual understanding of yourself as a white man and of white people and the situatedness of races generally.
You know, the problem is that this type of speech has been so suppressed. That's why you see all these white people acting poorly all the time because we've been Africanized, right? The concept of white trash, that was like a stigmatizing of not acting white, not acting properly civilized and properly ethical, all those things. Breaking news, white pill alert. Chud the Builder has bonded out. Chud the Builder is back on the street. Hide your chimps. He is back. The menace, the white menace is back on the streets.
We are in downtown Nashville right now where my brother Chud the Builder is in his final bond hearing. He's being persecuted for being a white man who defended himself versus a violent black assailant. His bond has been set at $1.25 million when the murderer, Carmelo Anthony, only $250,000. This is the definition of two-tier justice. We have to stand against it. The Democrat persecution of Christians must end today. Free Chud!
Okay, hold on. That just said he's in the bond hearing. This, Chud the Builder has just made bond. I am at the courthouse now in downtown Nashville with his family rejoicing. All right, well, that's good news. That's a white pill. That's a gem alert. I need a white pill thing. I don't have a white pill sounder, but I have gem alert. All right, I'm going to go over a few little stories that are leftovers from my week off that I didn't have time to cover yesterday. We're just going to go over these really quickly. There was in Berlin, a car of peace rammed into a pride parade. A Muslim was driving the car. He was shot and killed by the German police. I believe he killed one person and injured like 27 others or something. This video was before the full tally was known, but
a manhunt is underway, and it's been underway for several hours now as the police are looking for the suspect. He hasn't been found yet. It's currently unclear if it's one or more suspects. German media is reporting that when the attack happened, a car plowed into some people and several people jumped out of a van and maybe started stabbing people with machetes and then drove.
Her purse said nature is queer. They love that. There's animals do gay stuff, therefore it's natural. Yeah, they eat each other also, and they rape and they eat their own shit. Should I go on?
Maybe started stabbing people with machetes and then drove into a car. It's not clear exactly what happened, but the police gave a statement and they said that the suspect is known as part of the Islamist scene and they are looking for him. He is known to the police. It was a very joyful event. The weather was really good in Berlin, and then all of a sudden at around 10 p.m. local time, the attack happened and the people that were enjoying the event were sent home. I've had messages, and I know that a lot of people were very shocked about what happened. They couldn't believe it because it's such a peaceful and such a joyful event. I mean, it happens every year. It's one of the biggest pride celebrations in the whole of Europe. So the fact that the people came to such an abrupt ending of their celebration is just very surprising, and there's such shock.
And then the only other thing about this that I wanted to show you is this woman, a young singer at a memorial event, says that she wished that it was a white Christian who did the attack. Now, I believe this is in German, so...
Diese Nachrichten zu bekommen, dass beim CSD ein Auto reingerast ist, ein Mann in einem Auto. Und was auch für mich schockierend war, ist, dass das Erste, was ich gedacht habe, war, hoffentlich ist es kein...
So I'll have to take the guys. I don't know if anybody grokked this. I didn't look earlier. But yeah, we've heard this one a million times. If only it was a white Christian guy, then the proper, then there wouldn't be any racism created from this, right? Because white Christians can just do whatever they want all the time and nobody cares. I'll assume that's a correct translation of what she said. Also, some guy after the, Shiloh Hendricks was back in the news due to her trial, which she was convicted on one count of disorderly conduct for saying the N-word, which would reasonably cause the guy she said it to become violent, physically violent. And even though that didn't happen, it's still the reasonable expectation you're supposed to have that black people will assault you if you call them the N-word. And so she was convicted of that and sentenced to 200 hours of community service and a fine. And also, by the way, I don't have this tweet pulled up, I don't think. The judge who convicted her had another case where some guy had downloaded child porn or been caught with child porn, and she gave him 100 hours of community service. So saying the N-word gets you, same judge in both cases, saying the N-word gets you twice as much community service as downloading child pornography. So that's cool. But anyway, so this guy made an account. He put her name. He called it Shiloh Hendricks. He somehow easily got the blue check mark. I don't know what the fuck these blue check marks are supposed to be verifying over at X. And he put a PayPal link and he asked for donations. And he gained like 20,000 followers in like 24 hours. He got up to 35,000. Tom Hennessy instantly was like, this isn't Shiloh, this is a scam. And everybody was like posting, this is a scam, but he still collected many donations and many followers. And then he streamed himself on X gloating about it and making fun of everyone.
Got hey, hey, hey. You're so mad. You're so mad. You can't do nothing about. Hey, I'm about to use my favorite line. I didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. Didn't do. Look at all them followers I got. That's crazy. Like, why y'all? Hey, they deserve it. Hey, if you gonna be dumb as shit with your money, you deserve it. You deserve it. Hey, hey, that's on y'all. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
So it's actually fraud, though, and it's a crime. Like, you're saying they're stupid with their money, but you fraudulently misrepresented yourself. It's very Jewish way of thinking, right? It's the sucker is the guy. Everybody who's a sucker like deserves it, and nothing I do has. It's a very non-white way of thinking that you're not bound by any kind of ethical considerations or obligations towards other people if you lie to them to steal their money and they're dumb enough to believe you. Having said that, it is kind of dumb to just give your money to a link like that without looking for any kind of verification first. I always, whenever these give, send, goes and stuff go up, I always try to make sure that there's somebody I trust involved with it before I ever give my money. But this is a crime. People have been sent to prison and so forth, or massive fines for faking cancer on GoFundMe's and stuff like that. So far, and I looked it up this morning, this happened like several days ago now, and I looked it up this morning and there's like no news articles, there's no evidence that this guy's been charged. He wasn't even banned from X. He still has this X account.
I ain't got nothing.
I believe. I'll try to double check that in a second here. Well, let's just finish the video. But basically no repercussions whatsoever as far as I can tell.
To do with that. Boy, woke up this morning with me, had me a good old breakfast. Courtesy of the white man. You finally did something for me. Yo, got him. Hey, drop my... Oh, you trying to donate to me for scamming the white community? Bro, help me. I want to scam them some more. Hey, look, help me. I need look, make them send more bread to me. I like their bread. Oh, then after it, look, some dude said, here $100. Go buy you something nice for yourself. Nigga, went and paid my gym membership. Went and picked up a rotisserie chicken. Went and picked up my supplements, my creatine, and my pre-workout. My boy just went ahead and paid for.
Went to Costco, got a rotisserie chicken.
Hey.
Living large.
I got you. Went and picked up my supplements, my pre-workout, and everything. I identify as a 100.
I identify as a 100-pound black woman. Faceless doxed this guy very quickly. So we know who he is. He's Jamel Lewis. He's some kind of wannabe influencer, 5,000 Facebook followers. Faceless was quote tweeting this tweet, which I'm not going to read, but you can read it on your screen there. Can you read that? It is highly illegal. That's true. It's completely illegal. It's fraud. And I was trying to look it up this morning, and this was like the only article. Like, so the media hasn't touched this. This is on Nerd Stash. This is like one of the only articles that came up. I think there might have been one more on some other unknown tabloid type of thing. Indiana man scams MAGA by pretending to be racist woman to get donations. This is a crime. Let's see if they link to the account here. Posted a video, posted another. Maybe the account did get banned ultimately. So the problem is you can't just look up the @ because people can change the @ pretty easily. Okay, it's not banned as I suspected. About 6,000 to 7,000 people unfollowed after discovering they got scammed, but he still has 27,000 followers. He's still followed by Cat Respecter, Tom Bowie, and 10 others I follow. And yeah, so no repercussions at all. Not banned from X, not charged with the crime of fraud. Just total immunity. Total impunity. So that happened. You have in Indiana, this is in the state of, you have Indians in Indiana protesting Khalistan. Meanwhile, in Indiana, not India, by the way, Indiana. People with the direct energy weapons, if you can hear me. Whoever's got their button on the space laser, if you can hear me. Cool. Okay, there was like this Bethesda protest where I guess they all got laid off. I guess there was a bunch of layoffs at Bethesda, which is a video game development production company, a publisher. They publish, everybody's like, well, Bethesda makes shitty games, but they published Doom: The Dark Ages, which I thought was awesome. And I thought the DLC was really good too. It's one of the best DLCs probably I've ever seen, the Revelations one. It's just got everything you want. New weapons, new mechanics, new enemies to fight, new levels and puzzles. I was really impressed with that DLC. But apparently, I looked it up this morning. I was like, did Bethesda make Doom: The Dark Ages? But apparently they just published it, which is not the same thing. But anyway, so you have this protest, all these laid off developers, and the physiognomy is like insane.
Morale is really low because
is Starfield not good? Because I have it on my wish list right now because I kind of want to try it, but I'm waiting for it to be real cheap first. Starfield was such shit. Was it really that bad? I get mixed signals from it. Bethesda made they're the guys who made Mass Effect, right? That's the thing. So like Mass Effect 4, everybody complains about it and says like it's woke, ugly, trash or whatever. But like I played the whole game start to finish and I thought it was fun. Like, yeah, the women models were like ugly or whatever. And there's some cringe dialogue here and there, but it's like, it's still just a fun game. Like despite all that other stuff, Starfield is considered a complete flop.
As we've been told that we're making great games that players love and that we're doing well.
They're so sorry. Look at this guy with the hammer and sickle tattoo and the face tattoo. These are who are making. If you're wondering why the games are full of cringe shit. Oh, Mass Effect is not Bethesda. Who makes Mass Effect? Mass Effect were also paused. I thought Mass Effect was like I thought Starfield was basically like Mass Effect. Is it not? Is it not just like a Mass Effect ripoff? Oh, they made Fallout 3 and 4. So yeah, They make really like buggy games, but they're fun games. I never played Elder Scrolls, but I did play Fallout.
And the
BioWare, that's right.
have this suddenly hit us has been a huge shock to us.
If you play Gayfield, I'm unsubbing.
Hit us has been a huge shock to us.
It sucks.
We make all kinds of games, all kinds of...
Troon. Juniper Dowell. Troons have like 5 names that they can choose from. Lilith, Juniper, can't remember. None of the other ones are coming to me. Lilith is a really big one though.
people love.
It'd be really nice if we could just get back to work and make them games that will define a generation of video gaming.
I worked at ZeniMax for about 5 years.
Every person, it's just like total leftist physiognomy.
We are having a march and a rally to
Vivian, yeah, that tracks.
to demand dignity and respect and an end to the cycle of life.
No, I never played Skyrim. I never played it. That's like one of the most hyped games of all time that I just never got. And I'm just not interested, frankly. Frankly, I'm just not interested. I bought Dragon Dogma 2 and I played it for like 13 hours, but I only played it that much because of how expensive it was. God, that game sucks. Dragon Dogma 2 is like the worst game I played in 2025 or whenever that was. Maybe it was 24. Okay, do you guys remember Friend? We've covered this a little bit here and there. It's a AI companion that you wear in a necklace. So you wear you have your AI on like a chain and you just talk to it and it talks to you. And they've had some weird marketing. Like there was some fat woman with various diseases and she had like a seizure. I don't remember exactly what happened. It was like she had like a seizure and like crashed out in a parking lot. And the guy who was like with her, like doing like a mini dot was like laughing at first or didn't believe. I can't remember, but it was like, we looked at that. It was a while ago. Anyway, they put out a new ad here.
I love you.
I love you too.
And that's just the ad. She's getting married. It's interracial, as you may have picked up on. If the astute viewer may notice that the couple are racially divergent, racially dichotomous. Is that a good way to say that? And she says, I love you. And the joke is that her friend thinks she's talking to her and not the Somali guy, the Ethiopian that she's marrying.
I love you.
I love you too.
And then they have a nice little laugh about that. Isn't that fun? So anyway, who owns the company? Avi Schiffman founded and owns Friend, the AI pendant company. He is Jewish. Yes, he is. There he is. That's him. Avi Schiffman. He's got an X account. And cool. Their homepage looks like what I think ICE would call probable cause. So Tucker Carlson had Daryl Cooper on again, Martyr Made. And I haven't watched it. People said it's a very good interview. I was kind of like, oh, maybe I'll watch it on the show. But it's another 2-hour Tucker Carlson thing. And look at all the tabs we still have to go through. I just have too much other stuff. But people are saying it's very good. So maybe you might want to check it out. But apparently Daryl Cooper, at one point in the interview, recommended a book by Thomas777, who I tried to get on the progress report for the HT episode. I was scrambling to get another guest, and I reached out to him, and he said he couldn't do it, but he'd like to do it. So we're going to have him on the next season. When season 3 of the progress report comes out, we're going to have Thomas77 on one of the episodes. But he was, recommended, and he's a far right guy. Here's a clip. This was posted by Milk Bar TV. He says, Tucker Carlson just had his favorite historian, Daryl Cooper. Churchill was World War II's chief villain, on to promote open neo-Nazi Thomas777. Thomas777 believes Hitler will be remembered in 1,000 years as the warlord who prevented Soviet world domination, and rants about Jewish power. Jewish power is like an opportunity infection. It's like a bacillus. What is that word? Bacillus. from Latin bacillus, meaning little staff wand, a genus of gram-positive rod-shaped bacteria. Okay. It's like a bacillus attacking like a very sick person. Here's a small taste of the open neo-Nazi and Jew hatred Tucker is now promoting on his show.
For a book on the Nuremberg system right now by an author, Thomas Sear. And it's, he rocks his leather jacket with Iron Cross, patches on it, walking around the streets of Chicago, right? So like most people would think, wow, that's an extreme dude. And he kind of is in certain ways.
A lot of Jewish power in terms of praxis is like an opportunity infection. It's like a bacillus, like attacking like a very sick person, with compromised immunity, metaphorically speaking.
There needs to be not just a criticism of Jews, but there needs to be a criticism of Jewishness. And, you have to kind of, the Jew within, you have to kind of overcome before you can overcome the Jew without.
But
damn, that's so real. Joel. Fuck's his name? It's just because now I'm thinking Joel Berry, Yule Berry. Joel, what is that guy's name? Anyway, overcome the Jew within. Overcome your inner Jew. That's so real. That's so real. Davis, thank you, Joel Davis. I always see people like white people doing something, and I think, wow, that guy's really acting Jewish.
You got to develop some sort of spiritual understanding of yourself as a white man and of white people and the situatedness of races generally in the history.
The problem is that this type of speech has been so suppressed. That's why white people, you see all these white people acting poorly all the time because we've been Africanized and we've had our racial pride take away, right? The concept of white trash was like a sort of stigmatizing of not acting white, not acting properly civilized and properly white, ethical, all those things. And now you have wiggers and just Africanization everywhere. And the problem is, and it's just like what Thomas is saying, is that we're like immunocompromised because we're not allowed to say, hey, white man, do better, which is part of just the immunization against that.
In a historical environment. I mean, anyone who spent time around Jewish people, and I live around a lot of them because of where I'm at, these are not happy people. Hitler will be remembered in 1,000 years, essentially, as the warlord who prevented Soviet world domination.
Just a very smart guy. He's worth reading.
No lies detected from Daryl Cooper, as always. And so Rob Dreher quote tweets this Milk Bar tweet, and he says, "Why do you say Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite? People have been asking me. I think he's just criticizing Israel." Well, here's a good example of Tucker Carlson's gaslighting. He's careful about what comes out of his own mouth, but he platforms people who say the quiet part out loud. First of all, there's no way Tucker could have possibly known that Daryl Cooper was going to promote Thomas 777. And shout out to Daryl Cooper for doing that, by the way. I already liked him, but this kind of just reinforces like, yeah, here's a guy who's our guy. There's a cost to that. You go on a show like this and you say, hey, check out this author, Thomas 777, that basically nobody's heard of. And then they look him up and they see he's like a neo-Nazi. And then they say, well, we're not fucking bringing Daryl, right? There's a cost to all of this stuff. So you need to respect it when people actually do that. And especially when people who have been given some level of access do it. Daryl said, you mean the part where I admitted most people would find Thomas to be extreme, but that it's important to read everybody for different perspectives. What a scandal. Good response too. Just make fun of these pearl-clutching freaks who want to tell you that if you want to save the West, you can't be afraid of being called racist. Not even the West, your people. That's even more explicit nationalist sentiment than saying the West. You say you want to save your people. But also Tucker Carlson's an anti-Semite because he had a guest on the show, and that guest said the name of some other guy who said something that I consider extreme. It's like 3 degrees of separation from Tucker Carlson, but let's cancel Tucker Carlson now. Give me a fucking break. Woke cancel. Just another orthodox woke cancel mob. First they came for Corey Mahler and I said nothing because I thought Corey Mahler was a psycho. Now the orthodox are coming for Tucker Carlson and there was nobody left to defend him. Meanwhile, Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed thinks that America was founded on racism. Kind of true. Kind of some truth to that.
Founded on the removal of a whole people. Founded on the idea that we could compromise on whether or not people, as a function of the color of their skin, could be enslaved by other people. Founded under the idea that all people are created equal, all men, but that only meant certain men and not women.
Yeah, again, the problem is, so this is RNC research, and this is again, this Jordan Peterson level of conservatism where you say, these guys are trying to call the founding fathers racist. Can you believe it? No way. Listen to this loon. It's like, yeah, they were, by today's standards, they were incredibly shocked. They own fucking slaves a lot. They own black slaves. Yes, they were racist. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying America was founded on slavery, but it is true. What the guy says there, he says, they said all men are created evil, but they didn't actually mean all men. Fact check, true. That all men are created equal line has been one of the most biggest, like, oh man, we really vague posted a little too hard with that one. Locke, are you sure you shouldn't explicitly say that you're talking about white Anglos in good standing? No need. It's implicit. Yes, it's unlikely to be misconstrued. Mayor Zoran Mamdani, mayor of New York, was getting criticized because he's opening these like government city-owned grocery stores and that are going to have like low prices, I guess operating at a loss probably. And in order to prevent people who aren't native New Yorkers from buying the cheap groceries, they're going to have some kind of ID system so that you can prove you're one of the people who's supposed to have access to the cheap groceries. I'm sure you can imagine why this would raise some eyebrows from conservatives.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to pass it over to our EDC head, Ginny Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing, and also we manage who's buying and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that. And so we're going to make sure that we have all the things.
Sort of a library card-esque system, a way to identify papers, if you will. Show me your papers. So this is the big joke, of course, and it's related to voter ID and voter fraud, as I'm sure you've all deduced. This, people are too stupid to get IDs so they can vote, but they're expected to get IDs to buy their groceries. And I meant to mention this yesterday, the Spanish thing that we talked about, the Spanish migrant crisis. Spain had like 1.3 million illegals or something by their estimates in the country. And they created this amnesty program where these people could go and apply for amnesty and citizenship. And about 1 million applied, right? So it's this, you have these people, they're foreigners, they're impoverished, they come to the country, they don't know the culture and all this. And yet, when you say, hey, we're going to give amnesty and a pathway to citizenship, they all figure out how to fill out the paperwork. 1 million of them, like 95% of them are like, okay, we're all going to form an orderly queue and apply for amnesty. And yet when you suggest that people should be able to have ID in order to vote, the Democrats say that you're racist and that's too much of a hardship for people. And then meanwhile, we have Sneako's ex-girlfriend, Xena the Witch, who I believe we watched a clip of this woman recently who she was saying that Amy Dangerfield had a threesome with her and Sneako or something like that. And now she's in a clip saying that she pegged Sneako. So more Groiper curse for Sneako. This guy just keeps taking L's. Now his ex-girlfriend is out saying that she fucked him in the ass with a strap-on dildo. If you didn't know what pegging means, so when a woman fucks your ass with a strap-on dildo.
Hey, you like came up to me and tell me you were gay because I said I like gay niggas. Yeah, I fucked him in the ass. I fucked your cousin in the ass.
You fucked my cousin
Sneako
in the ass?
Yeah, I fucked Sneako in the ass. How does that make you feel? I wore a strap on and I went behind him. I fucked him in the ass. Are you proud of that? You like this clip? You want it?
I didn't know
Your
that.
cousin's a fucking.
I did not know that. What the fuck?
Like back the fuck up. No more gay.
What?
Oh God.
I mean, just because of my cousin doesn't mean I have to.
You came up to me and told me you were gay.
I was told.
Hey, you like.
Damn. Okay, this was another clip. This was happened on my week off. And I wanted to touch on it real quick because it's interesting lesson in physiognomy. You have this woman who is like, she posts her DNA. She's like 98% Ashkenazi Jew, but everybody accuses her of pretending to be Jewish because she has blonde hair and A10 eyes and she's physically attractive. I've made this point over and over again that a lot of people just think ugly equals Jew. And that may be generally a trend that is there in the physiognomy and the what's the word? Phenotype, the Jewish phenotype, but it's not strictly the case.
The whole concept of suicidal empathy is just another step in this campaign to make secularism more palatable, because secularism is inherently degenerate and self-destructive, because that's just life without God. And so they sort of have to package it in this idealization of peace and love. And it's not a new thing, obviously. The left has been calling itself the more empathetic and the more tolerant side for forever, even if it's not true.
Right. Every young guy had a crush on Natalie Portman before they became JQ pilled.
But this new wave, or this new strain, or however you want to call it, is more specifically targeting religious people. I see it more and more that in my life it's Jews saying you shouldn't take revenge, and taking that verse out of context. And I know Christians a lot of times will take the turn the other cheek verse out of context, and they've gotten very, very good.
Could slap her with a wet fish? What does that mean? Like she's dainty?
At hiding
what that
the
means.
sacrilegious aspect of this, because God does command us, rise up and kill those who want to kill you, and he does command us to put certain people to death. He gave us a justice system, and what they're essentially doing is saying, no, but we're more merciful than God, or we're more just than God, and they hide it in this nice little wrapping paper of, don't you want to do good?
She's actually spitting fire. We talked about this yesterday with the whole God commands genocide sometimes, and she's basically hitting those same points. But she touched on something, an important point there, that these people think they are more moral than God. But anyway, the comments are full of people accusing her of not being Jewish. And she posted her 23andMe somewhere, and she's like 98% Ashkenazi. Anyway, so it's not to say that you can't tell by looking at people, but you can't, it's worth reminding yourself that you can't tell with 100% certainty. And yes, I am sensitive about this issue, as I've been accused of being Jewish my entire freaking career as an e-celeb. And it's just a reminder that sometimes ugly guys are just ugly Anglos, and sometimes attractive people are Jewish, you know? There's a guy, you know what? I'm not even going to get into that. Grand Theft Auto 6 announced a extended premiere dropping on Netflix on Thursday, August 20th. So this is like 2 months away. They're like, hey, in 2 months, we're dropping a video on Netflix about the game. And here's the little video they attached to the announcement. trailer for a trailer. I thought this was interesting because this is like unprecedented. When has a video game ever had a TV show on Netflix to hype it up before it comes out? GTA 7, you're going to buy movie theater tickets to watch the trailer for GTA 7. You're going to pay $25 and go to the theater to watch the cinematic release of the GTA 7 trailer. They're being very secretive because it's not going to fail. They probably already are in profit from pre-sales. Maybe not. I don't know can you look up how many GTA pre-sales so far? I haven't bought my copy yet. They haven't released it. This says on track for the strongest pre-order campaign ever, up to 5 billion by the end of launch week, analysts say. Dude, if you think this game is going to fail, that's even crazier than thinking the Odyssey was going to fail. The Odyssey had a small chance of failing. There was like a fringe chance that maybe everybody actually was like, no, we're going to boycott this like it's a troon shilling Bud Light, but that didn't happen, and it's not happening for GTA 6. You go from mission to mission with in between cutscenes, extremely accurate. Yeah, the costs are big, but they're not 5 billion. All right, so anyway, I just thought that was sort of interesting. It's going to be dog shit. Whatever. You know what? You're entitled to your opinion, and in a sense it will be. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 what was kind of dog shit, but I still played it the whole way through. It'll be the same with GTA 6. You'll say that it's dog shit, but I'm still going to play it start to finish. Hey man, there's a limit, Cat Respecter. I didn't like turn it off. That's just how it goes. I mean, yeah, Red Dev 2 was like really woke, basically. So I'm sure GTA 6 will be the same, but it will also be a marvel of just like the amount of attention to detail, and so that's why you play those games. You play those games to marvel at the production quality, basically. I've said this before, but modern video games are almost like the closest thing we have to like Gothic cathedrals and big Christian, like the Notre Dame and shit like that. Whereas like in the olden days, you used to have thousands of guys working on a building for like 100 years to build like a really amazing building. And we don't do that in humanity anymore. We don't do big projects that are sort of in the physical world, but they do it in video games where they have teams of like thousands and thousands of people working on the game for like, it was like what 5 or 6 or 7 years or whatever. And then you get in the game and you marvel at it the same way you would feel. Playing GTA 6 is going to feel like walking into Notre Dame is basically what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I originally had this tweet. That was a joke, by the way. I originally had this tweet, and then I clicked through to the embedded version, and now I can't get back to the other one. But it said the name of this girl, and it also translated what she was saying. This is the girl. Her name's like Isabel or something. She's the Hello Kitty or the Hail Kitty. Remember, she's Spanish. She's in Spain. She's in the far right party, something Nacionales. She joined X and she posted this video and it went viral and she gained thousands of followers. She gained like 8,000 followers in less than a day. I guess in the video, she's saying that Israel is evil. Does anybody know her name? Can somebody, I fucked up the tweet. Far right Spanish woman, Isabel. I don't know if that's actually right. Isabel Peralta. Okay. So this is her. So let me just see if I can find the original tweet that I had pulled up. Yeah, I think it was this exact one here. Isabel Peralta was deplatformed after this video went viral. She was claiming that Israel is a plague on humanity and they are attempting to destroy the world. Not even a few hours later, Nikeita resigned. Can we please restore her account? So she got banned. She had like 8,000 followers or so, and they banned her right away, which again, they really don't like IRL far-right activists and organizers. You see that with like Thomas Rousseau being banned. People who organize in real life are not allowed to have social media for some reason. For some crazy reason, bro. Though we shouldn't have women in the movement, motherfuckers, been real quiet since this one dropped. Women should be in the kitchen. No, women are powerful agents of propaganda when channeled correctly. Nikeita Buyer did step down. He says he announced a big tweet, very kind of typical resignation announcement style
The Orthodoxer sent $3 on Power Chat. What a beautiful white woman.
Is that the real Orthodox? It's not, right? That's a joke because she's Spanish. She's a little swarthy. That's funny. Everybody's celebrating this. I'm kind of like, I don't know, whatever. I didn't like hate Nikeita as much as other people. Nikeita destroyed my reach. He stopped my account from growing, and he reduced my payouts by 90%. Those are basically like the tangible effects that I felt of his run. But I think he was, in his defense, he was doing what people wanted. People were complaining incessantly about slop. And that's why my reach and my payouts got destroyed, because what I do as a meme page is considered slop. It seems like an amicable parting of ways. Nikeita says he'll continue on as an advisor. So it's not like he got shown the door exactly. And we could sit here and speculate about maybe what happened behind the scenes, but there's not really much point. All I know is like I'm kind of like I default to the devil I know kind of thing.
Sally M sent $5 on Power Chat. LP, you're not a meme page. You are a minister of propaganda on X. Don't sell yourself short.
No, you're right, and I do know that, but the people, the powers that be, and the algorithms and all that, they're not capable of making that distinction. They can't tell the difference between the solid fucking gold that I post that got me 600,000 followers and radicalized a generation of young white men. They can't tell the difference between that and some Indian posting gender war slop about how a man should make $600,000 if he wants to ask a woman on a date, or whatever stupid rage bait those people post. It is what it is. I got fucked, and here's fingers crossed that things will improve with a new person in charge of head of product. But am I optimistic? Not particularly. This is a graph worth touching on real quick. This shows the support for socialism and communism by race. And as you can see, white people uniquely opposed to socialism and communism, while Asians, Hispanics, and blacks all support it. Blacks having massive support for socialism. This is one of the things about Asians. They're not like us when it comes to economic policy. The most important part of the Tucker Daryl Cooper interview. Okay, I wanted to check this out because I didn't watch any of the interview, but this is from Uncommon Sense, which is a good Twitter account for politics and JQ stuff. So he posted this, so I thought we'd give it a listen.
When you say the Nuremberg system, what does that mean?
It means, well, there's a lot of elements to it having to do with geopolitics and warfare. But from the standpoint that we're talking about right now, it's this idea that for people to live historically in the sense that I just described it is something that is dangerous and to be targeted and broken down. And you saw this really on domestic social levels. I mean, you see it. I mean, it's not as if that left-wing government in Spain is not part of the problem.
They're definitely
clearly
part of the
are. But here in the United States, you saw the effects of it over the course of the second half of the 20th century, where, you had our cities back in the day that were sort of these organic communities with separate neighborhoods divided by ethnicity and religion that were not in conflict with one another. They had arrived at compromises over the years and ran their cities in an organic way. And people were part of, they were plugged into communities that watched them be born and that would watch them die, and that their kids would grow up in and know that their kids were going to grow up in. And they sensed themselves as these people. They understood themselves as part of this living community that was going to continue on afterwards. So it was important for them to make sure that the things they inherited were given to the people that came along after their period of stewardship. And over the course of the second half of the 20th century, it was official U.S. government policy, essentially, to use mass migration, generally of African Americans from the South, as bludgeon weapons to go in and break these communities up and drive these people out to the suburbs, drive them out to other areas where, that old parish church that used to be all, Italian Catholics, you go drive through there now in Newark, and it's maybe some old grandmas who are still there, but everybody else lives 45 minutes away now, so nobody goes there anymore. And all of those communities were broken up by force very often and through violence indirectly on purpose. And it was because they were looked at as something that was potentially, that when people are living in a way where they sense themselves as part of a larger project, the idea after World War II was that can and in fact will almost inevitably get out of hand. And out of
get out of hand in what way?
Well, the way that the Germans got out of hand. That's, the idea that they start taking themselves too seriously and thinking of their historical mission too seriously, and they start to act on it in the world in a way that is dangerous to others. That was the idea, right? And of course, there's only one group, at least in the Western world, that we decided that doesn't apply to, and it's because they were the ones who were the victims of the Germans. So the Israelis, the Jewish people in general, very much live historically, and their right to do that and ability to do that is, you could say it's the central and primary, certainly foreign policy, but even with a lot of domestic policies, mission of the U.S. government and the sort of Western European NATO system in general. It's a central focus of that, which is very strange when you think about it, until you realize that we're living in the aftermath of Nuremberg. We're living in the aftermath of the Second World War, and we're probably coming up to the end of that cycle right now. I think that we're reaching the point where everybody who was around back then is gone. People who remember it directly and who have the real enthusiasm for it that was born out of direct experience is probably fading away. That seems to be the historical cycle every 80 to 100 years,
Good stuff. Yes, he did also mention Thomas77. We talked about that. And then Thomas77 had his Twitter account banned right afterwards. Fortunately, I do have email contact with him, so I'm still going to get him on the show. But this is what I was talking about. So we already talked about Martyr Made, Daryl Cooper, giving a shout out to Thomas's book. And what I said is there is a real cost to doing something like that. That doesn't just potentially affect Thomas77's Twitter account like we now see, but it potentially affects Martyr Made as well in some ways. Like he could, everybody like raised a stink about it, or the usual suspects did, in such a way that maybe he doesn't get to go back on Tucker Carlson. Maybe Joe Rogan was thinking about having him, but not anymore. And you have to like recognize the people who are this is kind of how you tell people really are about it. They really believe in the movement, in the ideology, and they're willing to bear the cost of doing that. Whereas other people will call you a Fed. Other people will say you're a fat Fed, and they'll Fed jacket you, which is like the polar opposite, so that they can distance themselves from your extremism. And so you got to be able to like recognize like who is who in that equation. And I want to be clear here. I'm not saying that everybody must necessarily fall on their sword and scream "It's the Jews" from the mountaintops and get banned from PayPal so they can be a legitimate dissident like me. You don't have to do that. And there is actually value in having people who don't do that, who maintain an air of plausible deniability while being based. And they're able to have successful careers and climb higher on the media ladder and so on and so forth. But here's the catch. Don't counter signal the people who are doing that. That's the rule. You don't have to do it. You don't have to get demonetized, banned, blah, 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 blah. Don't fed jacket the people who are. Don't counter signal them. Don't say, oh, that guy, he's crazy. He's too extreme. Sometimes people get like, they get sort of cornered on a topic like that where they have to say something, and it's a little bit more understandable, you know, but it's still better if you don't. It's like when they tried to get Donald Trump to disavow David Duke, and he's just like, he wouldn't do it. It's better to not even if somebody tries to like corner you, just don't do it. Turn it around on the person and just be like, I see what you're trying to do here, and I'm not going to play your games, you know? Anyway, VAUSH announces that he is moving to the Netherlands, a country that is whiter than America. VAUSH said the US isn't white for me. I never countersignaled Tyler Russell, the Bad Bunny fan. That's just an objective. He likes Bad Bunny. Hey, him and Nick, they like Bad Bunny. That's not a counter signal. That's just a statement of fact.
I'm actually moving. I struggled for a while forgive my hair. I just came out of the shower. I struggled for a while on how to, announce this, because I think that
Anyway, long story short, Daryl Cooper's a real nigga, and I respect that guy. I like him.
Like 99% of YouTubers, an announcement like this would be like, met with a chorus of, oh, go enjoy yourself, have a great time, enjoy your life, whatever. But I know that there's a particular anxiety, tinging this announcement, at least for a lot of the people who are going to watch it, because for many of my viewers, I'm a kind of canary in the coal mine, for the decline of America, right? When the jackbooted thugs break down my door and beat me to...
Not enough horse... Well, I saw Anna Slat say that, like, in the Netherlands, the age of consent is 16, and also she said it was a hub for child pornography, which I was unaware of. Is the Netherlands a hub for child porno? Netherlands hosts most of Europe's child sexual abuse material. It's from October 2025. So make of that what you will. Probably just a coincidence. Yeah, I know. You don't really want to be putting stuff like that in the search bar. I know. I should have just asked Grok.
Death for daring to criticize Israel. That's then everyone else in America who watches me gets to go like, oh, now we really freak out. So I want to be clear real quick. Me leaving America right now, it's not directly because of the general decline of the country. Here, I'll explain. Let me back up. I agonized for...
this got posted around Twitter a bit, and I posted it like on my Telegram. And a recurring thing I saw from a lot of people was like, who the fuck is VAUSH? Never heard of him. And there's something to be said about that, because in like 2018, 2019, if you were dissident right, you probably knew who VAUSH was, and like you probably knew who Destiny was. And I haven't heard anything about Destiny basically in like 2 years, and I haven't heard about VAUSH in like 5 years. And there is this kind of like this balkanization thing that happened where the right and the left just got sort of segregated. The left all sort of left Twitter, and even the ones that are on there, you don't really see them. And it's kind of part of why things are so stupid now, because in the good old days, we would dunk on shit libs on Twitter and we were like unified around that. And now what happens is like they're not around. So now you got a bunch of right-wing dudes who agree on 90% of things, who become mortal enemies, incessantly shit-talking each other because of the 3 things that they don't completely agree on. But yeah, I saw a lot of people who just like don't know who VAUSH was, and it's like, well, if you were around 7 years ago, you probably would. What's the Telegram? It is, what is the Telegram? Is it iHypocritical? It's it's t.me/iHypocritical because somebody stole iHypocrite from me. t.me/iHypocritical.
For how to make this video, because like I didn't want to make it too early. Why am I moving? Well, the answer is simple, folks. It's not for canary in the coal mine reasons. It's love. When I met my beautiful partner some years back, I knew that they were, and believe it or not, still are, an immigrant.
Yeah,
and
the Mr. Girl debate as well. Classic VAUSH moment.
As much as I'm able to tolerate the general decline of things in this country, I enjoy a lot of privileges that immigrants don't. The administration has made it abundantly clear that they'll take any opportunity they can to, really go after immigrants, especially because they don't enjoy the same protections that, citizens do. And for that reason, obviously, my partner's had a lot of, trepidations about continuing to stay here in the United States. I knew that when I met up with them. So I guess the question was, when we first started going out, would things work off, would they work well enough between us that eventually, when they decided it came time for them to move, I would join them. Things have hit it off between us. I don't know what to tell you folks,
No gendered language used whatsoever. Partner, them, they were. This nigga's banging a troon. Your Honor, this nigga is banging a troon. For a second there, I was like, he's got a gold button, but no, he's got 2 silver buttons. YouTube won't give me my silver button. Kind of pisses me off, honestly. It's stupid, but it's like the only thing I've ever done in my life worth recognition is get 100,000 YouTube subs, and they won't even give me my plaque.
I'm in love. It's corny, but it's true. Leaving at the end of the month, give or take, to the Netherlands, by the way, so I can enjoy some goddamn urbanism before I die. Look, I love Seattle, and Seattle's on the up and up right now too, with the light rail transit, the link. It's been doing quite well in terms of modernizing itself and pedestrianizing. But if my partner was like, I want to get out of here, let's move to Croatia, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation. Maybe I'd be like, I'll take my chances here in the States. No hate to Croatians. I'm sure there are many good ones out there. Very fine people. Sorry.
Following in Styx's footsteps. Yeah, maybe he's marrying Styx's ex-wife. The next step, of course, will be coming home and developing a crippling alcohol addiction and going off the deep end. Why can't I have a silver button? They're kind of vague because there's 2 possible reasons. One of them is that they say if you have a strike in the last year, which I have, so that would be disqualifying. And despite my best efforts, the odds of me going a whole year, and I think it actually has to be 13 months or 15 months because it would be a year because the strike is on your account for 3 months when you get it. So it's not super clear, but I think the strike has to be off your account after 90 days. And then you go a year. But they also say if you have advertiser unfriendly videos, which is like mind blowing. But it's not clear to me. It's like, what? So if I have one fucking yellow icon, because my Michael Jackson video is yellow iconed and I don't want to delete it again. Perez Hilton had a mental health crisis the other day. Very gory, just covered in blood and cuts. I can't show it on stream. It's a bit too much for TV. But if you don't know who Perez Hilton is, he has 5 million Twitter followers. He's a big tabloid guy. He used to be quite famous, sort of irrelevant and fell off now. Flaming homosexual. Super, super gay. He's having this mental health crisis where he's covered in his own blood and all cut up. And people were like, oh man, are his kids okay? And I was like, this nigga can't have kids. He's queerer than a $3 bill. He's, what do they say? this nigga zestier than a... Anyway, I looked it up. And he has 3 children through surrogacy. So that's cool. Perez Hilton, and by the way, if you scroll down on his profile, his recent tweets have like kind of more views and impressions because of what happened, people talking about him and checking in on him. But it's like, if you go backwards, like for a 5 million account, he would get like 11 likes on one like on this tweet and one comment, one like, no comments. So he's just kind of like his 5 million follower account just tweeting into the void. He did this big speech about, not only are you stupid, but you don't know you're stupid, and like just like rambled, and I just went, you're fat. That was awesome. That was awesome and true. But not true anymore, really. I wouldn't really call him fat now, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he's managed to achieve some level of discipline. Perhaps peptides played a role. Who's to say? One thing Perez Hilton was associated with way back in the day was the Leave Britney Alone video, this famous video we all remember. This was made because Perez Hilton, he's a tabloid guy, but unlike most tabloids like the TMZ style, where they just report people's dirty laundry, Perez Hilton would heavily criticize people and condemn them morally and this and that. So he was doing that to Britney Spears, which resulted in this.
You want to see a 25-year-old woman leave
back in like 2007
behind 2 children and die? Have we learned nothing from Anna Nicole Smith? I know it's hard to see Britney Spears as a human being, but trust me, she is.
You guys all know.
All you do is write a bunch of crap about her. She hasn't performed on stage in years. Her song is called Give Me More for a reason, because all you people want is more, 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 more. Leave her alone.
One of the OG viral videos. So anyway, that was Perez Hilton was behind that, and now he is
celebrity blogger and podcaster Perez
TikTok Live, apparently.
Hilton is recovering at a Florida hospital after he appeared to harm himself during a live stream TikTok.
Yeah, and this is video of first responders outside his home in Miami last night. Hilton had been writing about celebrities since the late 2000s. Much of his work has been controversial. NBC4's Alex Rozier is live in Hollywood for us with the latest on his condition and how mental health experts hope this incident could help others. Alex.
Carolyn and Annabelle, Perez Hilton's family says that he is receiving medical care tonight after he appeared to harm himself in his Miami area home. Now, experts hope.
How did you know I'm Somali? You guys were talking about Iceland Bro's head? Come on. And now nothing? Now nothing from the chat?
That this disturbing incident is a reminder about the importance of mental health. Today, Perez Hilton's family expressed gratitude for the love and support 1 day after the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office and paramedics responded to the celebrity blogger's South Florida home after the Sheriff's Office said he was live streaming acts of self-harm on social media. In a statement, Perez Hilton's team and family said in part, quote, "We can confirm."
This Perez Hilton guy, I don't like the looks of him. Very off-putting. A lot of gay people have that. You know, it's like if you remember that video that We're Coming for Your Children, a lot of gay people, they have this sort of unsettling vibe.
That Perez is receiving medical care, and our family's focus right now is on his well-being.
Perez Hilton came along at a time there were only a handful of people using the internet in a new way to make themselves famous.
Alex Ben Block is the former editor of The Hollywood Reporter. He said Perez's career covering celebrities has been controversial.
What was different about him was his style, because instead of just reporting news or trying to be gossipy, he really attacked people. He gave sarcastic commentaries on musicians and actors.
But in recent months, Perez had medical issues. In July, he sat down with NBC6 in South Florida.
I nearly died this year. Twice.
Right, so he had, I read about this, he had some kind of medical crisis where he got hospitalized and he turned to Christ and then started like selling Christian merchandise and shit, and basically, in my humble opinion, grifting off the Christians. So let's just pause for a second and think about this. So you decide that there's a first of all, you're completely fallen off. Nobody ever talks about you anymore. It's been years since since a single human being has uttered your name. You're completely irrelevant. You're old. You have AIDS. You have full-blown AIDS. You have money, but it's because you used to make all this money. You're not making money anymore. You get one like on a tweet.
Is it drugs or insanity?
Or is it demons? Is it Satan? That's where I'm going with this. So you're not making any money. Now you have medical bills. What do? You need a new hustle. So you go after the Christians. And then what happens? 3 months later, total mental breakdown, covered in your own blood, cutting yourself.
I had severe sepsis.
Coincidence?
Landed in the hospital for 21 days.
Sepsis. Isn't that what happened to PPP?
Also suggested on Instagram that his lengthy hospital visit was expensive.
Right. Isn't that sepsis? Isn't that, so that's like you're sticking your dick where it doesn't go, and I'm sorry to be graphic, but you get fecal matter like on your dick? Is that how you get sepsis? How does that work? Can we get PPP on the line?
I want to know.
Severe let me grok this one real quick. Grok, are gay people more likely to get sepsis than straight people, and why it be like that?
HIV weakens the immune system, making infections like sepsis more likely.
Nah, yeah, I mean, sure, gay people, you could say they get every kind of disease more likely due to their fact that they're riddled with AIDS, but I was going more for isn't one way you get sepsis, it's like fecal matter in your blood, or am I way off base there? Because you know how gay people are with poop and getting poop in places it doesn't belong.
Sepsis is a life-threatening response to any infection, not specifically from fecal matter. While bacteria from the gut can cause it, that's true for anyone. The notion that gay people are inherently more likely to get sepsis from fecal matter is baseless and homophobic.
Well, look, hey, you're the expert. I'm just spitballing here, but when you're sticking your another guy's and there's like tearing happening potentially, couldn't that be a potential avenue to getting fecal matter in your blood? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
Yes, anal tears or fissures can let gut bacteria into the bloodstream, which might lead to sepsis. This isn't unique to gay men. It can happen to anyone engaging in anal sex. The risk of anal fissures increases with poor lubrication, rough sex, or pre-existing conditions like inflammatory bowel disease. So the mechanics are sound.
Got
but
it.
The
final question. One last question, Your Honor. Who has higher rates of anal sex? Gay men or straight men?
Gay men have higher rates of anal sex. Studies show 70 to 80% of gay men have engaged in it in the past year. For heterosexual men, lifetime rates are around 40 to 44%, mostly with female partners.
Lifetime versus the last year, mostly with female? Yeah, I would hope so. If we're calling ourselves straight. But don't do anal sex, anybody.
How much I had to pay in hospital bills.
Though all the details about what led to his TikTok video are not known, experts hope we can learn something from it.
Mental health is now become a core piece of standard evaluation in healthcare.
Dr. Ramal Bera is a clinical professor of psychiatry at UC Irvine.
A lot of people are dealing with mental health struggles. What is your message to them?
Well-being, mental health, stress, distress, and low mood are normal. So our job as a society, when we see somebody not feeling well, is get closer to them rather than the normal human nature of it's not my business to get further.
Dr. Barra says that there are
Sorry, but I ain't getting close to a guy with AIDS. Maybe in a hazmat suit.
People you can reach out to for help from close friends and family. But then there are also others who are receiving training in mental health care, primary care doctors, people in your workplace, or even law enforcement.
Reporting guy's little beady eyes. There's something about this reporter. I want to like cuff him on the side of the head. Is that crazy? He's got these beady little eyes looking at me like a fucking cartoon character.
Live, I'm Alex Rozier. We'll send it back to you.
Alex, thank you. And we want to remind you that if you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health...
Now, here's about, so the Christian grifting thing. Weeks before, so this was just weeks before, he tried selling Christian merchandise to help pay his hospital bills. You don't want to know how much I had to pay in hospital bills. That's why your boy is now in hustle mode.
You don't want to know how much I had to pay in hospital bills with insurance. That's why your boy is now in hustle mode. I have all that I had to take care of, and I wasn't able to work for over a month. So I just dropped a new merch collection. I am obsessed with this. You can get that at buypopstuff.com. It is beautiful and just something that I needed in my life. Plus, I really needed this, and you can get it at buypopstuff.com. Plus, we've got it in mug form, and it's so freaking cool. I've got this one as well, and a surprise. Check out my entire new drop right now at buypopstuff.com. Wear something holy, praise him, and support your boy if you want.
Was he Jewish? People are asking. Grok, is Perez Hilton Jewish?
No, Perez Hilton is not Jewish. His real name is Mario Armando Lavandera Jr., and he was born in Miami to Cuban parents. He grew up in Little Havana and attended a Catholic school.
You know who else grew up Catholic to Cuban parents? Destiny, that streamer. And he's also Jewish.
I can't confirm Destiny's background from my current knowledge. No, Destiny isn't Jewish. He was raised Catholic in a conservative home and went to a Jesuit high school.
Yeah, but
his mom's Cuban.
but some of those Cubans, they're ethnically Jewish. That's what I'm getting at. Sephardic.
Yeah, there were Jewish communities in Cuba, both Sephardic and Ashkenazi, and many ended up in Miami. But for Destiny specifically, there's no evidence he's Jewish or has Sephardic ancestry. His background is just listed as Cuban on his mom's side, and he was raised Catholic.
Yeah, no, there is evidence, though. He said it to JF. He told JF he was Jewish.
Let me look into that. I couldn't find any evidence of Destiny telling JF he's Jewish.
JF told me that, so I am going to show one still frame because I think you should have some idea of how bad this is. I guess I could have given more warning, but it was way worse on video. And also, this is a very funny image, I'm sorry, because he's on a TikTok live with 3 other people, and this guy's like, yo, what the fuck? And she's also got her mouth open like, what is happening? And then the fat one is just sipping on her drink. This guy said, yeah, I'd take a long sip right here. Standard monthly meeting of the Dysgenic Freaks Club. Okay, Joe Feltz has died at the age of 40. Joe had been collecting rare, sacred, hidden, and last editions of old and ancient books and was in the process of scanning and uploading them as a free source on the internet. Joe has been found dead. The cause of death has not yet been released. They're now saying it was suicide. They're saying this guy killed himself. Some of the books included original Masonic books and Bibles, the 1812 Bible, including the Book of Esdras, Wisdom of Solomon, Apocrypha, and Psalms, the Lost Books of the Bible, Conversations on the Bible, Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Demonology, chronicling the Inquisitions and Salem witch trials, ancient magic and magnetism, and much more. Many of these books showed many inconsistencies with the modern version of history and exposed many hidden secrets. Joe was also created free blueprints and online design tools to help his audience build their own off-grid power systems without expensive corporate costs and with free energy.
This is the deepest rabbit hole on planet Earth. I've compiled a collection of Bibles that spans 90 years of history. 3 contain the Apocrypha, Bush-owned family Bible, 1812. German Bible containing the Apocrypha, 1878. The newest edition of my collection, nobody's seen this one yet. An 1884 Catholic Bible, the first one in my collection, full of newspaper clippings. This is also a reference Bible with an entire section of information not found in a normal Bible. And then my favorite is this 1895 print, another reference Bible that contains biographies of the biblical translators. These books contain a ton of truth, but it's not all the truth, so I expanded my collection. These are the books that are going in my digital library. Ancient Magic, Magnetism, and Psychic Forces, L.H. Anderson, 1895. History of the Jew, Henry Mark Millman, 1866. History of Freemasonry.
Pause. Grok, tell me about the book History of the Jew by Henry Mark Millman in 1866. I might be getting that wrong.
It's a 3-volume work tracing Jewish history from ancient times to the 19th century. Millman was an English historian and the dean of St. Paul's.
Is it hard to find, or, you know what, I don't care.
In concordant order.
I'm sure it's hard to find original copies.
By a board of directors.
But that's not the same as hard to find. Necessarily.
1891. This one's going to be interesting. Taoist Yoga, Chisu, 1980s. 17 remarkable vignettes in Papua New Guinea. My dad's book about his missionary work in Papua New Guinea. Heroes of European History, Louise Creighton, 1907. Another new edition. Physics and Physiology of Spiritualism, William Hammond, 1871. Am I a Jew or Gentile? Thomas Davies, 1893. The History of Freemasonry.
Am I a Jew or Gentile?
Daniel MacDonald, 1898. The Earliest Gospel, Frederick Grant, 1943. Conversations on the Bible, Enoch Pond, 1889. Magnetism and Electricity, a lab manual by W.M.S. Webb, M.N. States, 1930. 2-volume set, Original Teaching of Zoroaster, Marion Crawford, 1885. Given to me by a 33-degree Freemason, this is the Holman Bible, which is translated from ancient Eastern manuscripts. A very interesting Bible and an interesting translation. Research to find out more. Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Demonology by Russell Hope Robbins, 1959. People give me hell about this book, but it's part of history. 1967 World Almanac containing tons of economic statistics. Egyptian mythology. Original works of Flavius Josephus, William Wyston, 1872. The Outline of History, H.G. Wells, 1920. Night Scenes in the Bible, Daniel March, 1869. This is a trove of information littered with the breadcrumbs of truth. But remember that truth is like gravity. It does not care if you know what it is, it still applies. I figure if I put 2 centuries worth of print dates full of thousands of centuries worth of information online, we can finally figure it out.
So he was planning to scan all these books and upload them, and 3 days before the site was supposed to go live, he died. You can imagine the conspiracy theorists are going to have a field day with this one.
Sitting in front of me are several centuries of hidden and lost information. I'm going to make a digital library out of everything you see here and some not pictured as well. This is one of 3 Bibles I have. 1878 print contains pictures, illustration, and information not contained in a normal Bible. Conversations on the Bible. Enoch Pond, 1889. Do we need a Bible? What belongs to the Bible? By whom and where were the books of the Bible written? The lost books of the Bible. Christ and Abgarus. I've never heard of Abgarus. Paul and Seneca. Paul knew Seneca? Letters of Herod and Pilate. Those are the guys who crucified Jesus. The Earliest Gospel, 1943. Mark was the earliest book written in the New Testament. It was written about 50 years after Jesus died. Was Mark written in Aramaic? Was Mark anti-Semitic? I've never heard any of this mentioned in any church or Bible anywhere. Am I a Jew or Gentile? It's by Thomas Davies, 1893. Cosmology or Mysteries of Creation, the Hebraic account of creation, supported by the development of existing acts of God toward matter. Adam and Ha-Adam? What? Ancient Magic and Magnetism and Psychic Forces by L.H. Anderson, 1895. Very obscure Masonic author. This one discusses how magnetism is everything. In Chapter 3, Secrets of the Egyptian Magi. Night Scenes of the Bible, with the hidden U.S. history in the cover. Daniel March, 1869. Jonah's night at Nineveh. You want to know what happens after the whales spit him out? The Bible
looks like he's living in a van. I mean, that's the thing, right? Is you're like, okay, cool book collection, definitely some cool looking books. How much meth are you on right now? Just asking.
It was only part of history.
Yeah, I'm kind of joking. He doesn't actually look drugged out, but apparently he did have substance abuse issues in the past.
I've included a lot of other sources in the search for truth. Taoist yoga, the Chinese art of kindness, all new to me. History of Freemasonry, Daniel McDonnell, 1898. Physics and Physiology of Spiritualism, W.A. Hammond, 1871.
All right, we get the idea. There's another like 90 seconds of that. We get it. Cool books.
In my hand, I have a Freemason Bible from the 1950s and a whole bunch of internal Freemason documents. Book of the Apprentice, Book of the Fellow Craft, Book of the Master Mason, a Monitor and Officer's Manual, the Constitution and Bylaws, Masonic Law and Customs, and one entitled The Truth Shall Set You Free. I'll be honest, I don't know much about the Freemasons except the stereotype that they have in modern society that they're bad or evil, but I do know that they originated in Europe in the 14th century and they were a special class of Masons who built all the cathedrals and castles of the old world. A lot of people think they're bad, but I was reading their internal literature and I'm not so sure. Let me show you what I mean in the Monitor and Officer's Manual. This one is from 1941. They pray when they start. In the first degree, they cover brotherly love, relief, truth, temperance, fortitude, prudence, and justice. Those all seem like pretty good things to me. The fact that they have their own Bible is very crazy because they have a long-standing battle with the church, specifically the Catholic Church. In 1738, Pope Clement VII condemned them openly. He didn't like them because of their secret oaths, because they treated all religions as the same and that they mixed Protestants and Catholics. Then in 1751, Pope Benedict XIV reaffirmed the condemnation of the Freemasons. Membership in the organization has been banned by the Catholic Church since 1751, and then in 1983, Pope Benedict XVI reaffirmed its forbidden status and also said that Freemasons may not receive Holy Communion. The ban was reaffirmed 3 years ago in 2023. They're still feuding. So why did the Freemasons have their own Bible? Very, very curious to me. Because a lot of their private and confidential documents line up with church teachings. That the exclusive state control of public education is the cause of great evil? I agree with that. Do you agree with that? That every system of education must be subject to the rules of divine law? And it looks to me like they're agreeing with the Catholic Church on a lot of things in their literature. And they seem to take deep dives into the meat of the subject. This is 160 questions and answers intended to convey the average Mason the information every Mason desires without taking the time to research. And they are very keen on Solomon's temple. Now, Solomon was the reported wisest man ever on planet Earth, and the building, construction, dimensions, and everything of the temple are a key focus of their studies. I think these guys deserve an honest look. Now, I have their internal documents, and I'm wondering if I should release these online or if I should keep them private and confidential in respect to the order. There's no copyright information. They're obviously public domain. Should I respect the order? So if you have any real first-hand information on the Freemasons, please let me know, because I am not sure which way to go.
Interesting. That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say that the Masons were good guys, actually, basically. The whole, though, like, any religion thing is a little, like, I mean, if it was any Christian religion, like, sure, but they had a lot of Jews in the Freemasons, don't they? Like actual, like, rabbinical Jews.
Are we living in the end times? Let's look at the Bible. With the entire world focused on the Middle East, I figured I'd look to the Bible for answers. This is an 1884 Catholic Bible that says Palestine is the Holy Land. 1895 Reference Bible that says Palestine is the Holy Land. And then an 1812 print that contains a write-up on Judea, Palestine, or the Holy Land. If you look at what the Bible says, it seems that they're trying to erase Palestine. I want to read one excerpt for you. Palestine, which comprehends the ancient country of Canaan, was occupied by 9 tribes of Israel.
This is they are definitely trying to erase the idea that Palestine was a historical nation. The narrative is that it came into existence in like 1945 or whatever, when the British officially like recognized it, whenever that was. But clearly there's much, much older references to Palestine than that.
Israel is a tribe. Its many advantages and happy situation induced the neighboring and powerful kingdoms to attempt its subjection. Most of them succeeded in reducing to obedience and slavery the peaceable inhabitants. They have treated the conquered with utmost barbarity, not sparing old or young, women or helpless children. 180 girls aged 7 to 12 were just blown up at a school in Iran. We all know that in the end times, God's chosen people will be persecuted nigh unto death. As I scan the Bible throughout the years, I can see they've tried to erase it already. This is a 1950s translation. Isaiah chapter 15, verse 29, Philistia. verse 31, Philistia. 1895 translation, Isaiah 14:29, Palestinia. 31, Palestinia. In 55 years, they changed the name. You can see it right here. Are we living in the end times? Let's look at the Bible. The prophet Amos is referring to the children of Israel right here. Though they climb up to heaven, thence shall I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good. The Lord God of hosts is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt, and all that dwell therein shall mourn. Look at what's going on in the Middle East right now. Think to yourself, did they get something twisted? Have they tried to erase God's chosen people from the history books permanently? Have they altered the Bible? Read the news and think.
The thing is it's a tough sell to be like, well, Palestinians are the real Jews or whatever he's trying to get at because of how much it talks about Judea and Israel as well. But, you know, I'm very sort of agnostic on that whole question because who knows? Zionists gonna nuke this vid. Let's see.
This is a color map of Palestine, aka the Holy Land. Question I really don't want to ask.
Dude, the same like song in every TikTok video. It's like it's a bit much.
Okay, this is a color map of Palestine or the Holy Land, aka the Holy Land. Hold that thought. Come right over here to Genesis 49:28. All these 12 tribes of Israel. Whoa, wait a minute. Did you catch that? Palestine, Holy Land. Israel, tribe. Israel's a tribe and Palestine's a country. A simple search of history will show you in 722 BC, Babylon destroyed the entire northern kingdom of Judah. The southern kingdom remained.
Right, but in your other book, it said that Palestine and Judea were the same place. Which is kind of what I'm getting at with it's not, you know, it's kind of a hard sell.
Judah was the line of Jacob. They were destroyed 722 years before the birth of Christ, and now Palestine is listed in here as a country. Israel, tribe. But what if they got it wrong, and Palestine is God's chosen people, and they're being slowly persecuted, nigh unto death, right in front of our face, all because something got lost in translation?
You live in a van down. So do I have the so here's him saying that he would never kill himself.
I'd like to start out by saying I'm not suicidal and I'm very healthy. This is a history of the Jews, 1866. Why is the world so obsessed with the Jews?
You got a guy saying he's not suicidal, and then a few days later he commits suicide. I mean, I don't know, man. If I was suicidal, I wouldn't say I'm not suicidal. I'd be like, somebody help me. Now I had also seen a video. So this person claimed that, so apparently he took his own life. This person said, this is the hard part with this community. Somebody dies and y'all automatically say it was murder. It's truly tiring. This guy had problems mentally. If you look into his story, you'll know he had some stuff going on. Sad as hell, but don't make this what it ain't. This person said he'd been arrested and in jail, prison at least 8 times in his life, suffered addiction, mental health issues, etc. His father passed 2 months ago. His girlfriend of 4 years is now being attacked and called his handler and accused of Erica Kirk vibes. This community is a gang of idiots. Now, there was also like a video with a helicopter, which I don't think I had pulled up. I'm trying to remember where I saw it. Maybe in the quotes. Like he lived on some kind of like compound, okay? He wasn't just living in a van. And there was a video where like a helicopter was flying over the compound.
That eye is pointing directly there. That's the tunnel. A lot of people might think they're not real. Alex, are these real?
Yeah, these are in the dirt.
This is not
in any way, shape, or form bullshit.
I am here on an archaeological dig. He has the imaging report of this ground that shows there's something under there. That's the tunnel that we're starting at right there. This looks to be a giant megalith. Like it keeps going on for a long time. You can definitely see carvings in it. Carvings appearing in it, but I can't tell if it's dirt or rock. And I also really don't want to keep going. This stuff could be really soft. This looks like it could be part of a pathway and its placement with the tunnel. You see how it's going down? And then you have the dog. That eye is pointing.
Can I just say archaeology is like super cool, and whenever I watch archaeology videos, I feel jealous and like, why am I not doing this with my life? This is what I should be doing, being out there digging in the dirt.
To the right, it's pointing directly there, the tunnel to the city. I'm very curious. Looks like Thoth, aliens, as to where this is going. Anubis, creating life. Also where it's coming from, Osiris, how much stuff they're gonna find. With the heart in the middle, the jackal, same symbol that's on our money. Feels pretty ominous. You look at this, look at his eye. It's not looking straight forward. It's looking down at that hole, like he's guarding it. I think all these are just part. This is one chapter in the book. I think that might...
They're in South America somewhere?
You're right. The gesture of it all with the skull. Alex noticed a figurine that we hadn't seen on any of them. Money symbol. On a figurine. It looks like a staff hanging up, and then one down below. We looked at a lot of these artifacts in the last 3 days. I dug this one out of the ground, and I just took another one out of the ground, and I don't feel great about the way this is happening, but I'm here. If you look at these things, I think it's some type of afterlife portal, because no matter what direction you look at it, from right here, boom, or from up here, or from down below, or even upside down and sideways, it tells a story. But then you come around on the backside, there's nothing but raw earth all the way around it. I'd like to know what's on the bottom of.
Bit of a stretch. I mean, I don't know that much about afterlife portals, but I'm not sure if that follows that because there's carvings on one side, it's therefore an afterlife portal.
Yes. Is that really something you want to find out? Just showing you where we're at. This is real. Anybody want to come help find the lost city with the underworld portal? Anybody else crazy enough to pay money to come here?
Did they find El Dorado? So yeah, there was a video where they had a helicopter flying over their compound, and it was, I guess, kind of recent, and they were freaking out, saying that they were being watched.
WN sent $10 on Power Chat. Not sure entirely about what this guy is onto, but it lines up with another rabbit hole I went down once about all of the mysterious random destruction by fire of major libraries around the world in the 18th and 19th centuries. A pattern def emerges.
Now, somebody in the chat said that it looks fake, and I do think like all of this, even those books and that, you could get that made if you had a little bit of money. I'm not saying it is fake, but it could be. You could easily have a carved stone thing made and then bury it and then say, gee, whoa, look what I found. Look, it's got the Masonic symbol. Anyway, I can't find the helicopter video, so we'll just have to leave that there. Andrew Callahan from Channel 5 News talking about how, he calls himself the father of on-the-street interviews, and then says that if you do on-the-street interviews complaining about immigrants, then black children are going to get bullied in school.
If you're inspired by Channel 5 or All Gas No Breaks and you want to make your first interview, man-on-street style interviews, don't make it about minorities invading, quote-unquote, different parts of the world. I know it's an easy way to get clicks for yourself, but negativity has a very short lifespan, so keep it player and make people's lives better.
Shoot, I think people are doing that. That's so sad.
That's the easiest cop. That's what I hate so much about all my bastard children online, is that they they take what I was doing, which is like giving a voice to people on the street who don't have like a platform, and they're like doing the agenda of like the current U.S. government and going to like different minority neighborhoods and like antagonizing Indians with questions about shitting on the street, or like asking Jews like, how much money do you get from the government, or like asking black people like, why do you do so much crime? And they package it as investigative, and they use AI keyframes of like, you know, like whatever the stereotype is, and these videos do like 10 million views, way more than anything positive, and all the comments are just like, our country's being attacked from within. And so what that looks like in real life is a kid getting bullied at school because he's black or brown or anything, you know, like, but they're creating the conditions for children to be bullied based upon race. And, you know, I was a kid at one point, and I know how fucked up kids are. And so I just see this content, and it makes me genuinely sad. So yeah, if you take inspiration from me, give a platform to people who don't have one.
Don't you know that the minority children are going to get bullied because of your racist content? What do you think happens to white kids? And here's the crazy thing. There's not really a lot of content teaching them to bully white kids. It just comes naturally. That's the crazy thing. It just comes naturally to them. Oh, man. Anyway. By the way, too, I love this guy, Reckless Ben or whatever, doing the whole like, oh, no. Why? Oh, that's terrible. Oh, man. You know, just putting on this show like he gives a fuck. It's hard to tell. Was that guy a scammer with mental health problems who killed himself? I will say it's a bit sensational to think that like the government sent Black Ops helicopters in to kill that guy. You know what I mean? Because he was about to like expose the truth about who the real Jews were or something. You have to take I know people like these stories, but you have to take oh, you're talking about Andrew Callahan? Well, yes. Andrew Callahan he's a leftoid. You know, I made this point just the other day, but they really believe that I remember when I was talking about Peter Joseph, like they have this really insane view of social engineering. They think that social engineering control like has way more power and influence than it actually does. So that's why he's like, oh, you can't make this kind of content because just think of how bad it'll be for the little children who get bullied. That's how leftists think. They think that you have to control the media people consume, and as long as you do that, you'll get a good society. And it's stupid. Asmon-Chud was banned from Twitch. Now, at the time of this post yesterday, they didn't know what the ban was for, but they think it was for this clip.
Always, this is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids.
Hold on. Quiet.
If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them.
He's on a 1-week ban, I believe.
They're going to stop coming over. Because if you don't do...
So, Asmon-Chud, in this clip, he's talking about shooting... I'm going to back it up because we got interrupted a couple of times. But he's talking about shooting people coming over the border, the southern border, and he says if they bring kids, then you got to shoot the kids too.
Always, this is
a policy I agree with, by the way.
This is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over. Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works. That's the way an animal thinks, and these people are animals. It's just the way it is.
It could actually just be the "these people are animals" comment more and nothing to do with him saying they should get shot, because that's, you know, these platforms, they really don't like quote unquote dehumanization. So it could have just been that one comment right there. YouTube really doesn't like it when you say it. That was like when we had Gypsy Crusader on the Progress Report, he said monkeys. And I was like, ooh, please don't use the M word. But I think he might have heard N word. But it's like, yeah, they don't, you got to try to, there's certain things that they'll get you for that they don't like.
They're savages. Absolute fucking savages.
Savages is another one I would recommend you would try to avoid.
Hamas tactics, terrorists. Of course you don't want to do that. Doesn't mean you want to do it. But you have to do what you need to do in order to enforce your borders, man. Like, that's the way it is. People are too emotional to see that. Yeah, I mean, like, again, like, it's... You can't make decisions that way. And I understand the way that I talk about this might be a little bit extreme. It might be a little bit, unemotional. I wish we had more people like me. I do. I wish we had more, because we got too many pussies that are too worried about the optics of something rather than the reality of it.
Chudman-Gold. I'm becoming a believer. Can this guy run for president? Asmon-Goat. Yeah. Where's the Asmon-Gold political run announcement? Is he the dark horse for 2020? He's American, right? He is American. 2028. Asmon-Gold 2028. I mean, I agree, and I've said it before. We should have, he's very pro-Israel. Yeah. Okay, pause. That sucks. What's the deal with that? Is that how you get to be the biggest streamer? Invite him on the show. I actually have, like, he does follow me on X, but he doesn't respond. I think I only ever DM'd him. It might have been twice, actually, because they were talking about doing a collab with Nick. And I was like, you and Nick should come on my show. And again, no response. Dude, imagine if I got the progress. Yes, actually, so I've messaged him 3 times and he's never responded. So, and then in light of that, in light of him catching a 1-week ban, we have an old resurfaced clip from Hassan Piker, the Twitch golden boy.
We're gonna keep bringing in immigrants in this country on purpose, just so they can fuck your sister, and then maybe even your daughter. We're gonna destroy the white race, bitch. That's what we're here to do. We're gonna keep bringing in immigrants in this country on purpose, just so they can fuck your sister, and then maybe even your daughter. We're gonna destroy the white race, bitch. That's what we're here to do.
This must be an older clip. He sounds like super gay, doesn't he? Nick Fuentes laughs at Return to the Land, Wignat Trailer Park losing its lawsuit.
LARPer sent $50. RTTL just signed sworn declaration saying that it has no race or religion member requirements and sued Sky for calling it white only. Smiley face emoji. Smiley face emoji. Smiley face emoji.
Well. Who was that homo? That was Hassan Piker. That was an old Hassan Piker clip. Hold on. You got to listen to the power chat here that Nick is responding to because it's important context. This is only a 45-second clip, so make sure you get all the context here.
LARPer sent $50. RTTL just signed sworn declaration saying that it has no race or religion member requirements and sued Sky for calling it white only. Smiley face emoji. Smiley face emoji. Smiley face emoji.
Well. Would you look at the time? The broken clock is right again. Who could have predicted that? Oh, you're telling me that your little in the woods white commune LARP failed at the first legal challenge? I'm truly shocked. I thought that was going to work. I thought they were going to federate that out and just create these whites-only communities and like the DOJ be powerless to stop it. I'm truly surprised at this development.
Okay, so Nick says, like, oh, wow, they're legal. They lost the first legal thing. That's not what happened. So they are getting sued by some Jewish woman, and that case is still pending. They haven't lost the case. As far as I know, their motion to dismiss hasn't even been ruled on. So, because that would be like the first L that they would take, is they would try to get the lawsuit thrown out of court. And if that was rejected, then they would have to go to the next stage of the lawsuit, which includes the discovery, etc. And that's where it gets really expensive. But as far as I know, I don't know if they've even filed their motion to dismiss yet, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't been ruled on either way. And then what the super chatter is talking about is they RTTL are suing Sky News, because Sky News did a hit piece about them, and in their image, they put an image of like a tree that had a sign hanging on it, and the sign said whites only. And it was to sort of like harken back to this, segregation America, KKK type of imagery, right? But it's not a real image from RTTL. They don't have a whites only sign. And so they're suing Sky News, and they're saying we actually don't have a racial requirement in our bylaws or whatever they're called. I don't know, however it all works. So I hope they win everything. I hope they get the lawsuit thrown out against them. I hope they win their lawsuit against Sky News. And Nick's weird for how gleeful he is for this stuff to fail. You know what I mean? Right. They may fail, but Nick shouldn't want them to fail. Exactly. Now, we are reading into it a bit because Nick didn't say he wants them to fail, and he didn't say he's glad that they failed. He merely acted very gleeful and said, who could have possibly seen this coming? I just think it's like a bad look. Okay, Joel Webbon. This was posted by this Hitler-hated Christ guy who sucks. He sucks. He's a race traitor. He's a racial cuckold. And this is like a 4-year-old clip. This is from 2022, but like people keep like saying like Joel Webbon's based, and I'm like, Because Joel Webbon paid Nick Fuentes $100,000 to do 10 one-hour segments with him. So what's that? $10,000 per hour. Nice work if you can get it. And they like talked about Hitler, and they both were like, I don't think Hitler's a Christian. And it's like, guys, that's not the narrative. Hitler was a righteous Christian man, okay? Stick to the script. Which is also true. But here's an example from 2022 where he's talking to a black Hebrew Israelite, and he's like against segregation, and he's worried that the woke are so racist they're going to eventually condemn interracial marriage. The biggest sin somebody can do, condemning interracial marriage. I think he replied to this maybe, so I don't. We'll check for that, but
they're heavily segregationists, and they think that would solve a lot of issues. Obviously they hate interracial marriage.
Oh yeah, I bet
things like that, right? Even though you go to the Bible and you're like, wait a minute, Moses had a wife from another nation, and the best answer I've sometimes
do you guys really think Moses was married to like a Venta black wife? Like Moses's wife looked like who's the chick from Conan the Destroyer? Grace Jones. Is that it? This is what Moses's wife looked like. Do you guys believe that? I don't know, man. This is why, this topic about the DNA and who is the real Jews and this and that. It's like something I just don't really even worry about because we don't really know. You know what I mean? Robert Sepper says that the Ethiopians were ruled by burghers who were red-headed white people. So Moses's wife could have been a red-headed, don't look Orthodox. She looks really ugly she hit the wall. Grace Jones hit the wall. She was good in Conan. Grace Jones, Conan. Chocolate Sin. Hitler, forgive me. Tommy wants Chalky. Sorry, I'm just joking, you guys. What was I even saying? Oh yeah, Moses' wife could have been a red-headed white woman if Robert Sepper is to be believed. We don't know. So maybe we don't know. Maybe she was black as night. We don't know, but it's, the people present these arguments as if it's proof of a certain biblical thing, and it's like, well, 3,500 years ago, you don't know what Ethiopians and particularly the rulers of Ethiopia looked like 3,500 years ago.
There's some funny answers. Like you just gotta keep them in your pocket forever. It's like, well, that was a special moment. Mm-hmm. Someone said that to me once. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I could see that, and it's it's funny. Like nobody would actually come out on record and say it, but I remember thinking like some of these woke guys, even in evangelicalism, I know for a fact if I could sit them down, strap them to a chair, give them some truth serum, and hear what they really thought. I don't think that they would be a fan of interracial marriage because it's all about your identity coming from your ethnicity and what you don't want to.
What is this hair? Can we just pause for a second? I've never seen this in my life. Is that like a style? Is that a choice? Is that intentional? Give me the one line fade around the dome. Like that must be intentional, right? Like that's his barber. He asked for that? Is that like you got hair plugs and they're still growing back? What, can somebody explain this to me? Let me ask Grok. Let me take a picture of this and ask Grok. Let me just take a picture. I'm going to upload that to Grok. Somebody's got to explain this to me. Grok, what is this haircut? Or what is going on with this guy's hair situation?
That's a bold choice. It looks like a hard side part with a sharp line carved into it, almost like a fade or undercut on one side. But the line is really crisp and deliberate. The beard's pretty full and neat too. Is this someone specific or just a random clip you came across?
It's Christian nationalist pastor Joe Webbon. Do you think he might have some kind of fascistic undertones to his haircut?
A haircut doesn't make someone a fascist. It's just a sharp side part with a crisp line. But sure, that style can read as retro or authoritarian to some people. The real question is what he actually says and does.
Do you think he asked his barber to do that, or was it some kind of like accident?
That crisp line is definitely intentional. No way that's an accident.
Yeah.
He probably...
All right. Anyway, sorry. I just had to know what was going on, but apparently that was a choice. It is bold. That's what Grok said right out the gate. Grok was like, that is bold. Oh shit. Anyway, look, this clip was 4 years ago, and Joel does not endorse interracial marriage anymore. So he has changed. But 4 years is also not that long ago. And so, I mean, I think he's on the right path. I just think he still has a ways to go.
You don't want to water that down. You don't want to lose that. You don't want to mix that, and so, yeah, the
sad part is back when they weren't racist, a lot of those guys are in interracial marriages. It's
right.
Like, it wasn't an issue back when they weren't racist. You know what I mean? But now that they've actually become racist, right, in the biblical sense, it's an issue. You know, and it's like, man, I don't know how they sleep at night, like, I bet they really...
Orthodoxer sent $3 on Power Chat.
No.
Did you know Joel's wife is black and his 8 kids are mixed?
No.
I strive for his life.
That can't be real. There's no way that's real. Is he even married? Married to his wife, Megan Webbon. They got married in 2015. They have children together. Yeah, that can't be real because this is like this other guy. What's this guy's name? Daniel Partridge or something? I can't really keep all these guys straight. Is this him and his wife? Yeah. Texas pastor sparks outrage after telling women to lose 30 pounds. I was going to say that can't be real because he did recently like a debate against interracial marriage. And he said, I want my grandkids to, he's like, I wouldn't let my daughter marry a black guy because I want my grandkids to look like me.
Struggle and are probably in some depression going through all that.
I wonder, like, what percentage of Israelite blood will they have to be to inherit the spiritual promises of the Old Testament that they don't? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and if Jesus, I mean, it makes sense that if you're dispensational, you would be premillennial because Jesus better show up soon. It's already been 2,000 years. Interracial marriage, if that continues much longer and Jesus doesn't show up soon, then there's not going to be any ethnic Israel left. We're all going to be, one.
If it was just, I agree. Assuming you mean what I think you mean, which is that the looks argument is kind of weak. You should have a stronger argument against interracial marriage than I want my kids to look like me. It's a valid preference, but there's so many more things you could also be concerned about.
1/1000th, so
right.
I just, even practically, biologically, some of these things.
Sepper is a 2 or 3. Yeah. So just to be clear, I'm not saying you should believe Robert Sepper. Just to be clear. I'm saying if he is to be believed, then Moses' wife was most likely a redheaded white lady.
Including dispensationalism. I'm certainly not going to put it in the same camp as, Black Hebrew Israelites, but all those things that just emphasize so much race, ethnicity. When you practically think about it and the way it plays out, it doesn't go anywhere good. Like, because if you emphasize ethnicity, if you emphasize white skin, black skin, or Hebrew skin, and you think that there is a spiritual dynamic that is contingent on skin, then the natural, whether you ever say it, articulate it or not, the natural thought process is that skin, that blood needs to be preserved. And so you have to turn inward rather than outward and embracing people from every tribe, tongue, and nation. And, I've got 3 girls, and if one of them, brings some Hispanic guy home one day when she's older and the guy loves the Lord, then I'm...
Stone Choir has a really strong argument that the races do need to be preserved, which is in Revelations, one of the visions, I forget who, but they say they saw all the nations gathered before God, right? And it's like, how could you visually recognize different ethnic groups unless their bloodlines were preserved all the way to the end times?
I want to say, praise God, marry my daughter, or black guy, praise God, marry my daughter. But I feel like if race is you can't say that. You may not never come out against it verbally, but with your daughter though, privately in your home, you probably are teaching your kids, no, hey, we don't bring people home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just,
I hear you.
Racism. My point is, if race is a big deal, racism is the necessary wall of defense to preserve the big deal of race. You can't continue to emphasize race multiple generations from now without dividing walls of hostility to protect the purity of the race.
So he's come a long way. He's come a long way in 4 years, but for people who want to know why he doesn't make my very short list of people who make the cut, it's because he still says Hitler wasn't Christian. That's you gotta say Hitler was Christian before I trust you on theology. This is neither here nor there. I think I bookmarked this like 2 weeks ago, and I thought, oh, this would be a fun video to watch on Friday. It's just Prince like rizzing some reporter.
What do you feel like playing tonight? If you were to play something for us,
if I was to play something for you, I'd be your accompanist, and you'd do your thing.
But I'm not a singer.
Neither am I.
Yes.
You look a little nervous.
I am nervous because we just went through this during the commercial break, and Prince said that he would play a song if I were to sing, and I'm not a singer. And I don't know a lot of the words to the songs. So, would you want to play something for us?
I'll play something for you.
Okay.
I'll play something for you.
You thinking about what you want to sing?
Again, I'm not endorsing
How about
racism,
Delirious?
but that's not the point. The point is, this is like a clinic in how to rizz.
Go on.
I'm like blanking out with the words.
You don't know any blues?
Blues? I have a jazz. I didn't know you were going to do this. Okay. How about one of your oldies? Since you're telling everybody that you're not going to be playing your oldies anymore. How about Purple Rain?
I don't know that one.
You do. You lie.
Okay, you sing it.
How could I even try?
Go.
I'm sitting here with Prince. I'm gonna sing.
She never sings. Spoiler alert! But what a Rizzler. Okay, Seattle's $165 million library is overrun with drug addicts. I can't believe Savannah came to Seattle and she didn't even look me up.
This is Savannah Hernandez in front of Seattle's $165 million public library. Now, this library is 11 stories, has 10,000 windows. It's the most expensive library in all of Washington, and it is unfortunately overrun with the homeless. Now, the homeless issue is just one aspect of this library, and I was reading reviews and people have talked about getting nearly attacked by the homeless, how there are foul odors in this library, that rats are often in the area due to the trash and junk collecting around the building. People state they've been harassed by the homeless here.
Speaking of machine gun nests, maybe we should have a machine gun nest outside the library too. Just going off of vibes and looks.
And even the restrooms are unusable due to the homeless utilizing them.
Oh, I was going to say something about the machine gun nest thing, and this is obvious. You guys are smart enough to know this, but the thing about having those kinds of harsh measures is that they act as very strong deterrents. It's not like you're just going to be gunning people down every day for the rest of the existence of your nation. People are going to stop coming. They're going to be like, no, they kill niggas in America. I'm not trying to go to America. They kill niggas there. And I know that's obvious, but it's just worth saying because you fix a lot of problems when you have the proper deterrence and the proper incentives in place. We have a lot of like perverse incentives and an absence of deterrence. And there's just a lot of problems that are downstream from that.
To bathe or in some cases shoot up drugs. Now, I can attest to all of this because
they're dumb. Well, first of all, Mexicans are a little bit smarter than Africans, and you'd be surprised. I mean, it's the same thing with crime. If we were harder on crime, there would be even less black. Some black people would be like, "Damn, that guy had no record. He mugged a convenience store. He robbed a convenience store, and they locked him up for 30 years." It actually does act as a deterrent. This is like a great one of these progressive myths that it's not a deterrent to punish people for crime. It definitely is. And I know it works from firsthand experience because when I got my third speeding ticket in a 6-month span back in Canada, they were like, this is your third ticket. So this one's going to be $700. And I was like, damn. And they said, and also, if you get another ticket in the next 6 months, we're taking away your license. Guess what I didn't do for like the next year? I didn't speed. Because I felt that $700 ticket. I was like, fuck, man, that hurt. Maybe I shouldn't speed. But when the ticket is $100, it's just the cost of doing business. Do you see what I'm saying? Deterrents are real, but they have to hurt. It's not a deterrent if you can just shrug it off.
I went and I did a walkthrough of this library myself, and I witnessed several women, especially...
Yes, I also provide my ID when I get asked. If the police ask for any reason whatsoever, I could be doing nothing wrong, and I would just give them my ID. In fact, I offer as soon as I see them.
Women with their children straight up turn the other way and refuse to use the elevator because of how many homeless men were trying to get on it, or straight up turn around and walk the opposite direction because somebody was having some type of drug-induced psychosis. Now, another crazy thing...
Yeah, a few pikes with heads. I listened to a little bit of the Andrew Wilson, Joe Rogan, and that came up. They were talking about Vlad the Impaler and how it was probably like a really safe place to live. They're like, when there was like heads on pikes around the courtyard or whatever, the city center, the town square, there's probably not a lot of crime.
About this library is on the 5th floor. They offer free fentanyl test strips and injectable Narcan with syringes that are open and available for anyone to just come pick up and take, including children. These objects can be found on a table and they are very accessible. So
is Vlad a Christian? I actually don't know that much about Vlad the Impaler. They were like bringing up his brother and all this, and I was like, man, I don't know anything.
Child.
I'm willing to, without knowing anything though, I'm willing to sign off that he does feel like a Christian hero. Or maybe you're just making fun of me for the Hitler thing. I don't know.
The Sneed Man sent $5 on Rumble.
Vlad the Impaler, also known as Dracula, was a Christian hero. Romania still teaches their children this. They honor him as a defender of their nation.
I was going to say, if he fought
faith.
the Ottomans.
You weren't taught that. You were taught that he was a monster.
He fought those savages.
A psychopath who impaled people for sport. And there's a reason they told you that story instead of the real one. Because the real story exposes something they don't want you to see. The difference between a Christian prince who waged war on soldiers and an Islamic empire that waged war on women and children. Here's what your history books left out. The Islamic Ottoman Empire was waging holy war against Christian Europe. They were swallowing Christian lands, city by city. And Vlad knew exactly what that conquest looked like because he spent his childhood.
I'll have to watch that video later. Thank you, Sneed Man. There's too much imprisonment. Imprisonment is like a weird form of torture that is cruel and unusual. So People who do lesser crimes, they should get like a public flogging on their first or whatever offense, or like, I even think like, 6 hours in the stockade would do some people a lot of good or something like that. And that's kind of like torture. That's kind of torture, but a lot of people would rather have a flogging or spend 6 hours in a stockade than spend 6 months in jail. You know what I mean? Most people would take that deal. I would take that deal in a heartbeat. So for lesser crimes, you get caught pickpocketing or shoplifting or something like that, maybe a public flogging or something like that. And for more serious crimes, just execution. Just way more people should be executed than we currently do. There may be some middle of the road thing where it's like we do put you in jail for an extended period, but that it should be relatively rare.
Could potentially come and pick this up very easily at the Seattle Downtown Public Library. Now, I wanted to come here because there's an upcoming property tax increase that's going to be voted on by residents, with the city trying to raise $480 million for maintenance and security for not only this library, but the 27 library branches across the city. Now, to give you an example of some of the maintenance needs for this library, one of the 9th floor windows was broken from the inside. I wonder how that happened. The plumbing system is also being clogged by clothing and other items being flushed down the toilet. So a little idea of what's going on in this $165 million building. On top of that,
this is almost like a parody of progressivism, right? Like you build like the world's nicest library or $200 million. It should be like a thriving hub of community activity, daily events and people going there and kids going there. But obviously it's full of stinky, homeless drug addicts. And so none of the people it's built for are going to want to go there. But the progressives are too nice to do anything.
Completely unrelated, but I wanted to go back to the unlawful checkpoints that ask your info.
Right.
Pastor Steven Anderson sued after this happened to him. Not sure the outcome of that, but he was acquitted of the arrest charges.
Well, let me ask this. Are you placing me under arrest?
You are under arrest.
And what crime am I being charged with?
These guys are telling me that a canine alerted to your vehicle for the presence.
And I've asked repeatedly for that dog to be brought back out because I say that it didn't happen. And they are refusing to get the dog back out because they know that they're not telling the truth.
You can do one.
Because I wouldn't answer their questions, they came up with that.
Or I'm going to take you out of the car.
Well, let me ask this. When you place someone under arrest, don't you have to put them under arrest for something specific?
I'm a police officer. I'm ordering you out of the car.
Will you answer my question, police officer?
Yeah, I'm a police
What are you placing me under arrest for?
For failure to obey me right now.
So I have
Failure
to obey you
obey.
by law?
Yes, you do.
Even when you're stopping me without cause?
Failure to obey is not a thing, but obstruction, I've said this before, that's the one they can just hit you with. You're obstructing. Interesting. What was interesting about that clip is he didn't say, I'm not constitutionally obligated to get out just because your dog smelled something. Instead, he said, you're lying about the dog. Bring the dog out here and prove it, which is an interesting strategy. Steven Anderson police lawsuit. Milwaukee County judge dismissed Steven Anderson without prejudice from a civil wrongdoing death lawsuit. That's not the one I was looking for. Police officer named Steven Anderson. No, that's not it. Pastor was involved in a high-profile 2009 legal and physical confrontation with Border Patrol. I don't think there was a lawsuit. Let me see. He was jury acquitted, charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of resisting a lawful order and obstructing a public highway. Had all criminal charges dismissed with prejudice. Why did it say jury trial? He stated intent to file a civil lawsuit against the involved authorities for excessive force. No major civil rights judgment or successful federal lawsuit resulting from the incident materialized. Taser case. Beaten and tased by U.S. Border. So they ended up tasing him in that same interaction. Border Patrol on the stand. So the charges weren't dismissed Because it did go to trial. I'm confused.
When you're at the Border Patrol...
There might be multiple incidents. I'm kind of confused here.
Someone in chat suggested eternity and was punishment enough. That doesn't stop atheists from destroying 800 homes in Washington. Word should get out that nightmarish torture awaits them.
Well, I think death would do the job. I think execution would be a deterrent, a suitable deterrent.
Checkpoint. Your duties are to enforce immigration laws and look for
Most atheists and most people in general do not want to be executed.
Terrorists and look for weapons of mass destruction and assist in detecting narcotics. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm not watching 10 minutes of this shit. But apparently he got tased. Freedom Law Firm. He refused to move his car, triggering 90 minute standoff. Yeah. See, again, I don't recommend that. Because he got acquitted, but he got tased. He had to go to trial. He had to hire a lawyer. He could have just complied. If they tased him and arrested him, they searched all his shit anyway. He could have this just proves my point. This just proves my point better than anything could, that you could just save yourself the trouble. People say you're cucked. You're a bootlicker. Look, man, it's your choice. You want to get tased, hire a lawyer, spend $50,000, spend hours and hours in court.
On Power Chat. Here's the whole
hours
video.
In jail.
Well,
That's your choice.
Are you placing me under arrest?
But I bet you
and what
once
crime,
is enough.
What crime am I being charged with?
These
I bet you go through that once, and then the next time you're like, you know what?
For that dog to be brought
I'm going to comply this
because
time.
I say that it didn't happen. And they are refusing to get the dog back out because they know that they're
Even
not
when
telling
you
the
win,
truth.
you lose.
Because I wouldn't answer their questions, they came up with that.
Or I'm going to take you out of the car.
Well, let me ask this. When you place someone under arrest, don't you have to put them under arrest for something specific?
Okay, I'm a police officer. I'm ordering you out of the car.
Will you answer my question, police officer?
Yeah, I'm a police
What are you placing me under arrest for?
You prefer to obey me right now. I
have to
I will not
obey
wear a
you
mask
by
is
law?
not necessarily
Even
the
when
same.
you're stopping me
If you're
without
like
cause?
getting kicked off your airplane because you won't wear a mask, yeah, then it's the same. If you're actually undergoing a massive inconvenience, then yes. But it's kind of like, why did you buy a plane ticket if you weren't going to follow the rules? You know what I mean? I'm anti-torture, but I love videos of people getting tased. I know they were in the wrong, and I'm surprised he didn't sue. Because he got the charges dismissed. It feels like he could have had a lawsuit here. But it's just videos of people getting tased are just so funny. Moving on.
Going back to the window.
Going back to this.
Each one costs $30,000. And by the way, all 10,000 windows do need to be replaced just for basic upkeep and maintenance. And they can only be created by one company in Italy that produced them, meaning it's going to cost $300 million just to replace the windows. Now, I wanted to highlight that to give you guys an idea of how this $480 million budget might sound like a lot of money. However, it's barely enough to cover the maintenance for just one of the libraries in the Seattle area. There is still 26 more that need maintenance and security. By the way, a couple million of this budget is going to be going toward creating a new office of inclusion and belonging for the library system, because of course it is. So just wanted to give you guys an idea of what Seattle's $165 million library looked like, how the homeless...
Dude, everything the government does is insanely expensive. It's just a huge racket.
crisis was going in this area, and also how the budgeting was going under Seattle's Democratic Socialist Mayor Katie Wilson. Yet another beautiful American library that is completely overrun by the homeless and very unsafe for American children here in Seattle, Washington.
Waste. What a shame. So this was Jesse from Pod Awful called a guy who super chatted $200 to Vrillium and pretended to be Rabbi Shmuley. And I listened to like a minute of this and I thought it was really funny. And we just watched the Rabbi Shmuley video yesterday.
A few things here real quick. All right, let's give
Roosh V in his book American Pilgrim. He went all over America, and he said that if you go to a new city and you're to check it out and you want to know the vibe, go to the library, because the library will be either like overrun with homeless drug addicts, and it'll have like pride flags in the window, and it'll be dirty, or it'll be clean and quiet. And that's how you can like if you're looking at different towns and deciding where you want to live, go to the library, because it's like a really easy litmus test for what kind of place that is.
Let's give people some calls. Just be quiet and Discord for me for a second.
Yes, sir.
Law office. Your call may be recorded.
Oh, this is Jonathan. How can I help you?
Jonathan, hello. This is Rabbi Shmuley. How are you?
Doing okay. What can I do for you?
I'm just concerned because I see you donating $200 to Will Sexton, who's an anti-Semite on YouTube.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little bit of a cause for concern. You see his anti-Israel, anti-Jewish stance.
What's the concern?
Well, the concern that you're giving an anti-Semite $200 for what? For saying slurs about Jews?
So? Yeah, so.
You're a lawyer, you're Jewish, you're going to support something like this?
What do you care?
Well, of course I care. And by the way, I think, social media is going to care too.
Okay. Who cares?
Well, I'm telling you, I'll tell you, Benjamin Netanyahu cares. That's who cares.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call the police. You're killing me.
Okay.
You're killing me. You're hurting me. You've stabbed me. You've put your thumbs in my eyes.
I'm going to call the
You're
police.
kissing me.
Okay.
You're trying to give me a second bris.
Okay.
You're canoodling with my geschloyum.
Fantastic. I don't even know what that means.
Of course, you don't speak Yiddish. Why not?
Why would I?
You're canoodling with my dish lawyer.
Why would you think that?
Your name and you're a lawyer and you're watching Vrillium.
Okay.
Okay. You just keep saying okay. I don't think this is okay. I think this is actually another Shoah.
I don't know what you mean.
You don't know about the Shoah? You haven't seen the big pile of shoes?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've never seen the shoes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The big pile.
Dude,
Have you
I'm
been to the
crying.
museum? Have you not looked at your history?
What museum?
The Holocaust Museum.
No, I've never been there.
You've never been to the museum?
No, I don't get to DC very often.
This is a shanda. Can I take you?
No.
And by the way,
I
they
don't know
have
who you are.
there's a Holocaust. I'm Rabbi Shmuley. There's a Holocaust museum in every major city and also minor ones.
Okay.
Well, I would love to help you to see the light. I could take you to Auschwitz, make you walk inside the chambers, and
I don't
gas
really want
you.
to. I don't like leaving America.
Well, what if I took? Where are you in Ohio?
Who cares?
What do you mean? Who cares? This is a public number. I see your law firm. I see you're in Ohio.
Sure.
It's not a secret. I'm not trying to, say.
Okay.
I'm not trying to
What's your point?
orthodox you here.
What's your point?
My point is, I could take you to the Holocaust Museum in Columbus.
I don't really want to.
I want to take you. We hold hands. I'll show you the big pile of shoes.
I don't really want to.
What about
I'm busy.
what about the teeth?
The what?
The teeth, the gold teeth.
What about them?
Are you pro Hitler?
Why would you think that?
Well, because you, a Jewish man, is sitting here telling me you don't know about the Shoah. You haven't learned about the struggle, the plight of our people.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? What What do you mean? What do I mean? Do you not speak normal human words?
I mean, you're not speaking normal human words. You're using this Yiddish language.
Fendela.
You just said Jews are
again, not normal human words. I don't know those
Jonathan,
words.
you've got me so verklempt I could plot.
There we go. We're not speaking the same language.
Well, what language would you like me to speak?
English.
Okay, here goes. Do you know the man named Adolf Hitler?
Of course I do.
Now, do you know his maiden name?
Look, Smoothie, I'm not going to get into this conversation with you. I don't really care.
Well,
okay.
Listen,
this
is what I do.
Call.
I police the internet.
I don't know what you're doing.
I police anti-Semitism.
Really
I'm a rabbi. When was the last time you went to temple? Okay.
Where was he going with
the William's Jewish whale?
Where was he going with the maiden name, the Hitler thing? Where was he going with that? Dude, that is so funny. I knew Jesse was funny, but that's like the funniest thing I've ever heard him do by a long shot. It was like old school Jerky Boys. Oh, okay. Police are investigating he's like, I'm going to call the police. You're killing me. Like, what did I do? You donated to Beryllium. I'm calling the police. You're killing me. It's another Shoah. Police are investigating a weightlifting spotter after he claimed he intentionally sabotaged a black woman's lift because he is racist. Powerlifter Sunita Mullah, however you say that, was attempting to squat 334 kilograms in Lithuania in June when Ernestas Kusinis, an assistant, placed his knee under the barbell, causing a failed attempt. Mullah initially defended his action, believing it to be a mistake, only for Kusinis to reply to a video posted by an American influencer writing, I am a racist and I did it intentionally because I hate you pieces of shit. So here's the video. And you see it, he had his knee under there and blocked it. Now his comment could have been sarcasm, right? It could have been somebody being like, why did he do that? And let's say it was an honest mistake. He just sarcastically is like, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, he has the look. One thing that occurs to me though is like, if you can cheat somebody, imagine how easy it would be to cheat in the reverse, where you're just helping them with the lift as a spotter. It would be incredibly easy. I didn't know they had spotters for competitions, to be honest. Is that just a female thing? Lithuania police. The police launch racism probe after black powerlifter incident. And this just pretty much says everything we already know. He commented, I am racist and I did it intentionally. A police spokesperson told Reuters the investigation will focus on the Instagram message and events at the championships with a maximum penalty of 2 years in jail. Kusinis told Reuters his Instagram comment was written out of anger in response to racism accusations and was not intended as a statement, but as mockery of the accusations. Okay, I didn't read this article, but that's what I said. That like it could be sarcasm. He could be making fun of the people. Like, yeah, that's what happened. I'm racist, retard. That is plausible because, that's presumably that's in some way your job. I'm not saying your main job is being a spotter at like fitness competitions, but maybe you're like a personal trainer or something. You're in that world. We all know the cost of being openly racist. Most people don't express their racism in a way that could get them 2 years in prison, as well as losing their jobs and all that. You know what I mean? I'm racist, but I don't go out of my way to mess up other people's day just because they're not white. I threw him the bone he wanted, added Kusinis, referring to an unidentified social media user who had set who he said had accused him of racism. He unintentionally interfered with mullahs and other athletes' attempts because he was tired after his duties at the event. The judges didn't notice, but they saw it in the playback video recordings. Kusinis, a longtime spotter, interviewing with other athletes' squat attempts, including a white. So he did it to a white person too. So now his defense is bolstered. Kind of a shitty spotter though. You're doing that multiple times. You're fucking up multiple people's lifts. Maybe not the right job for you. Anyway, I believe him that it was a mistake. Why would he do it to a white guy as well? And also, my initial reading of that comment was like, this could be sarcasm. That's how people talk on the internet. Okay, Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson and the Charlie Kirk debate. Is it happening? We're getting closer. We're getting closer to the $1 million debate, the most expensive debate in the history of the internet. But before we look at the back and forth between Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens, here's a little clip of Wilson on Joe Rogan recently talking about this stuff.
The dinosaurs aren't real one. That one's great.
But have you noticed, like, the flat earthers have fleets of people who will debate their stances? Like, fleets of them who are like, we can't wait to debate with you on the flat earth. It's like, on the other side, though, in this particular conspiracy, you can't get these people to debate their positions.
Like, who won't debate their positions?
Okay. We offered Candace Owens, I offered her $300,000 to do a debate. I was like, we'll give you $300,000.
What is her position?
Owen Benjamin would debate it, for the record. Andrew Wilson still hasn't answered me. I'm not going to, I was like going to do a follow-up, but I decided now I'm not going to do a follow-up because he obviously is gunning for Candace Owens. And doing any other Charlie Kirk debates in the meantime, I wouldn't do it if I was him. So we'll just wait and see what happens with the if the Candace Owens thing ultimately falls apart, then I'll probably do another follow up and be like, "Yo, Owen Benjamin."
What does she think happened?
She thinks that Israel worked in conjunction with TPUSA and Erica Kirk to murder Charlie.
Based on what?
Well, that's the $1 million question. Nobody actually knows. She's never presented a single shred of evidence thus far.
He's a pussy. I don't think so. I don't think Andrew Wilson is particularly scared of Owen Benjamin. I think he wants Candace Owens.
That Israel ever worked to murder Kirk, that Erica Kirk certainly didn't. In fact, her position for the longest time was, if Erica Kirk comes out and tells me to stop the conspiracy on this, I will. So Erica did. She went out publicly and she was like, enough. You're just causing more problems than good here as this investigation's going on. And then suddenly Erica's now part of the conspiracy. By the next day, she's trying to cover it up. She's part of the conspiracy too. When I went to the TPUSA HQ and I talked to Erica briefly while I was there, the first thing I did was what I think every normal, moral human being would ever do. I gave her a hug, and I told her how god-awful sorry I was that happened to her. Like, could you even imagine how that's got to feel for her? Especially now that she has tens of thousands of people accusing her of murder.
Yeah, did he do four? I don't know about the 4 other debates, but obviously the well, actually, I shouldn't say obviously, because I don't know when this Joe Rogan thing was recorded. It is possible that this was recorded before Stu Peters. I don't know how that works. But I think Andrew Wilson brought this up on Rogan intentionally to bait Candace, and it may have worked. If I was a conspiracy theorist, if I thought there was some big plot to discredit Candace, I would say Joe Rogan was in on it.
And conspiring to murder and then cover up what happened to her own. I mean, that's like mind-boggling psychological torture on a level that I've never seen. Okay, so he goes on Rogan. He says that Candace Owens responds to his offer. So they had put up like $300,000. It was a bunch of people chipped in. Don't ask me who. I think Whatever podcast was part of it. They wanted to do it on Whatever, and he was putting up like $100K or something. And then other people matched it because they wanted it to happen, and it got up to $300K.
And then he goes on Joe Rogan and he goes, Candace Owens won't debate me for even $300,000. Isn't that funny? She must not be confident. Candace Owens has now responded with like a counter offer and her own stipulations.
I said, I have a counter offer. He says 300K. Let's make it 500K, right? I just have the hunch, this feeling, gut instinct that you're maybe being backed by Turning Point USA or their affiliates in this debate request. It's just, you don't strike me as someone that has 300K lying around for conversation. I mean, not with that smoking habit in today's economy, right? And given the fact that Turning Point USA has raised $40 million in one night off of Charlie's blood, literally encasing his bloody microphone at a fundraiser event so that his grieving widow could be captured by the camera standing next to it.
The ass shot too. Not even just, I mean, you know, whatever. Like, to me, this is like, it's not that weird, to be honest, because it's like, you know, Charlie Kirk was a big deal and you're trying to memorialize him and stuff, but the ass shot is a little bit weird. Like, why from behind? This is like the Instagram model. I've never seen this before. Anyway,
I think,
did I make fun of? I mean, when the pickle jar thing happened, we covered it on the show, and yes, I laughed. Obviously, what am I gonna do? Not laugh at that? But I mean, I also said it's like my worst nightmare. I've had jars I've struggled with in my life. Who here as a man is going to claim they've never had a hard time with a jar in their life? It would suck to have that happen on a stream, but it is funny and we're all going to laugh at you. Also, we all got kind of because now if that happens to me and I'm struggling, I say it's greasy. And Allison always cracks up. I'm like, oh, it's greasy. I can't get a grip, because that's what he said.
500K feels more appropriate. They want to invest in you. You're their guy. Tell them that's what it costs. What's 500K between old friends, right? Also, my second counter offer position point that I'd like you to meet is I'm 7 months pregnant. So if you fancy a debate face-to-face, you're going to have to travel to me. It's common decency. No time limit in the debate. Don't worry. It will be live. We will bring up any document.
No time limit.
Enter evidence that you mention as a part of this case. We have a team, so you can send links live. We are happy to pause and allow you to search for any evidence that you reference if the team can't find it for some reason. No tricks, as long as you want. Like I said, live, so anybody could see if we were trying to play tricks. As a 2A point here, you're not going to be chain smoking around me, tough guy, okay? You're just going to have to bring yourself and leave your cigs at home. And this is actually, I would say, the most important part for me. This is what has to happen. Third part here.
Reminder that Candace Owens is pregnant. So the no smoking thing is or no smoking around me is pretty reasonable.
Either Blake Neff or Andrew Colvett or Erica Kirk must publicly claim you first, meaning they must say that they are sending you in to debate on their behalf regarding the Charlie Kirk case.
Now that's the part that is way less reasonable, because so if they're not willing to do that, then you're not going to debate him. How is it his fault if he is not, sanctioned by TPUSA? That's a weird requirement that makes it feel a bit like she doesn't really want it to happen. Because I know she thinks in her mind that they're all working together, but let's just say for the sake of argument, they aren't. And they're like, no, we're not. This doesn't involve us. Now the debate doesn't happen. And what does that prove? That all that proves is that that Andrew Wilson doesn't speak for TPUSA.
Must publicly claim you first, meaning they must say that they are sending you in to debate on their behalf regarding the Charlie Kirk case. Okay? No worming away after the fact.
Now, there's been some back and forth since then, and I think she might have retracted this. We'll look at the tweets in a sec here.
They don't get to be, we don't really know this guy, whatever. They're boosting you. You're at the headquarters teaching people how to debate. I got to tell you, from the outside, it kind of looks like Turning Point USA scraping the bottom of the barrel, looking for influencers. And they've now arrived at people who are just amoral, who will lie about what people have said and intentionally misrepresent their positions.
Why would he be so focused? I think it's a hot topic, obviously. Dude, Candace Owens says $500,000 for me to show up. So this isn't a prize for the winner of the debate. This is Candace Owens gets $500,000 just for showing up. Do you think that that's normal? Do you think that's ever happened in the history of mankind that somebody's got paid that much to do an internet debate? It's huge. This is huge. So that's why Andrew Wilson is on it. And I think he really believes that what Candace is and these other people are doing is, like, whatever words you want to use, harmful, counterproductive, wrong. He thinks it's wrong. So I don't think it's weird that he's focused on it. All right, so she puts that out. Andrew Wilson suggests that they have Michael Knowles moderate and that they each pay him $25,000 to do the moderation.
To Knowles, if Candace does the same. If she doesn't want to, fine, then he can just take my $25,000. But that guy, I think, would moderate fairly. I think that he would stick exactly to the format that we demanded, and I think he would do it.
Not a big fan of the bouncing emoji things. You know, it's his stream. I'm just saying, I could do that. I'm just not, I don't really like it. I don't feel like it adds.
To Knowles?
I guess I could see that it incentivizes people to chat, which is engagement, which helps get your stream promoted and stuff. Like, I can see it from the influencer's point of view, but I'm very content focused. I try to avoid things. I mean, whatever. I just don't like it. It's just my personal opinion.
Candace does the same. If she doesn't want to, fine, then he can just take my $25,000.
Yeah, she should have suggested me to moderate.
But that guy, I think, would moderate fairly. I think that he would stick exactly to the format that we demanded, and I think he would do it. To Knowles, if Candace does the same.
Now, a lot of people on the Candace Owens side scoffed at this and said, he works for Israel. He works for the Daily Wire, which I understand that perspective, but also he's like friends with Candace Owens. Like, even after Candace Owens left the Daily Wire, Michael Knowles has never said anything bad about her and has actually defended her and said that he's still friends with her and stuff. So I don't think it's a crazy suggestion, but I mean, that would be Candace's call ultimately. Jake Shields says it's extremely retarded to challenge people to an activity or sport that the other person doesn't do. I'll pay Andrew Wilson $50K to get in a cage and fight me. Okay, we saw this already. Okay, Andrew counter offers. He says, $500K is fine. I'll crowdfund it. And then he says, actually, I'll just raise $1 million and keep half for myself, which he could probably do at this point. I think if they put up a fundraiser and said, we need $1 million for this debate to happen, I think they probably hit that in less than a week. Just guessing, but if Shiloh Hendricks can raise $1 million, probably this could raise $1 million. Travel there is fine on neutral ground. Can't be her studio. That's a ridiculous ask. I don't really know what's so bad about. I don't really understand the issue there, but okay. I suggest Michael Knowles moderate. We probably both trust him. If not, I am open to somebody else. Debate has to be 3.5 hours. I mean, she said no time limit, so she can go first and examine any views of mine as long as I also get an hour for cross-exam. I understand she is pregnant, so if she needs a break after an hour and a half to walk around, that's fine. For $500K, 3.5 hours is plenty reasonable. Lastly, the only stipulation I can't agree... Okay, so yeah, he says I can't do the TPUSA has to claim me thing. That is just requesting we both lie. I don't work for TPUSA and never have. I did one contract. I represent myself. This would be like me asking her to claim she is representing Tyler Robinson. She is representing herself. Lastly, I'm obviously not going to be smoking indoors. Deal? So he says that. Candace says, oh, so the rich tough guy who had $300K to burn now only wants to do it if he can make $500K? Absolutely not. This is weird to me. If he says I'll just do a crowdfund and raise $1 million, why would she be I mean, I guess there is sort of an argument here that in order the money would be raised on the understanding that Candace is coming to do this, but it's just so you're just like going to spite him though and be like, no, I get $500,000, you get nothing. Like it's very kind of petty and spiteful. Like who cares if he also gets $500K? What, isn't that fair? You're both getting the same amount of money. She's like, no, I get money, he doesn't. So she shuts that down. And she says, here's my counter offer. I'll take just the $300K. You get nothing, in parentheses. Yeah, she's just anti-white. But it's got to be in person in my studio. To overcome your suspicion that my team will be working against you, you can bring your own team to sit in the control room and assist with live fact checks. They will only be used to fact check because you proved on Joe Rogan that you'll lie and accuse people of working with the left and laundering money if you don't have an actual point. I did see a lot of people on Twitter saying that Andrew Wilson was lying about certain things on Joe Rogan. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of people are saying that. And then she says, so you can bring your own team of 3 and your hand-picked moderator to confirm there were no tricks. I accept Michael Knowles as moderator. I'm happy to do this week. No time limit. We are debating the case against Tyler Robinson and the surrounding evidence. This is a final offer, which is effectively your initial offer, my place. So if I'm sitting here watching this back and forth and I read this, I'm thinking Andrew Wilson should accept this. It is basically his initial offer. I don't see what the big problem is with doing it at her studio. He gets his mod, he gets to bring his 3 people, and he gets all the time he wants. So I don't know why. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, this should be happening. And maybe it is. But he responded. He goes, hold on. This isn't the right one. Let me back up. Maybe it's in the quote tweets. I think he responded to this. I love how people constantly quote tweet each other instead of just making a thread. He said, can I get clarification Friday? So like next Friday. And then secondly, the topic is all claims made by yourself about the case pertaining to Tyler Robinson and Charlie's assassination are on the table. And we each get at least an hour to cross-examine the other's many claims. Right. So basically he wants to make sure he's going to be able to ask her about stuff she said. And the reason he's saying that is because Candace Owens said the debate is about the case against Tyler Robinson. But Andrew Wilson wants to be like, well, you said, like, what's your case against Erica Kirk? Because you said this, that, and the other thing about Erica Kirk or whatever. He wants to make sure she's not going to weasel out of like answering those kinds of questions. And he's agreeing to everything else. So there's this one last stickling, this one last thing, which is he wants her to confirm that she's not going to myopically insist that it only deals with Tyler Robinson. And she responded. Candace says, next Friday would work. So that'd be a week from today. You can bring your cameraman if he makes you feel better. So you are now approved to bring 4 members of your team plus a cameraman. Plus I have just approved your moderator. For clarity, this makes your team bigger than my own, and I am fine with that. No, you don't get to now add in this weird stipulation regarding a 1-hour cross-examination. That's not weird, actually. That's cross-examination is a normal part of formal debate, so there's nothing weird about that. I think the debate he did with Stu Peters was like the too open format. He wants to make sure that Candace is actually going to be required to answer his questions, which is the point of a cross-examination, right? It's like being on the stand in a trial. You have to answer the questions that you get asked. As long as it takes no time limit, 3.5 hours, great. If you need longer, we can keep going. Do we have an agreement? So Wilson says, we have an agreement if you agree to have your claims cross-examined. This debate isn't specific to just the evidence against Robinson by the state That's improper framing. It's a debate also about your claims regarding this case and Kirk's assassination. Do you agree you also need to support claims you have made as well? If so, then I agree to the terms. No personal attacks, no ad homs. Why? Why not? Hey, why not? What's so bad about the occasional ad hom? When did that become a crime? This is a 1 hour ago. Stop adding in these stupid last minute addendums. You lose by default if you use an ad hom. Yeah, I'm with Candace on this one. We don't need 87 fucking rules, okay? If I accidentally call you stupid or if I laugh at you and I say what a retarded thing to say, then I lose the debate. Stop being so soft. That's an ad hom. The public will decide who the winner and loser is, and you don't get to direct them in that judgment with some obscure fine print clause. I've literally never heard of a person try to negotiate an automatic win clause. Glad we agree. Okay, see you Friday. Can just clearly hear you say that you understand you also have to defend your claims you have made in both this case and about the Kirk assassinations. I know unlimited time. I just want to clearly hear at least 3.5 hours. I don't think this is, if she says it's unlimited, I don't think you have to really worry about that, but whatever. I guess it's, it's just at a certain point, it could be handled in a private, in a private, at a certain point, the negotiations get fine tuned enough that the public just doesn't have to be involved. Anyway, so there we go. There's that.